5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
All righty, everybody. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that clapping from our live studio audience here. That's what we've got going on. I'll tell you what we've got going on. We have an amazing show going on. It is Thursday, December 10th, and I'm really grateful that all of you are tuned in. It's another episode of Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister, and boy. Oh, somebody said rap in the comments right away. No. Right away. Okay, so we're just gonna get into this because apparently I'm already getting flack in the comments section. And in case you guys do not understand, we're not gonna waste too much time with too many introductions here. We're not gonna do it because we have too much to talk about. Okay, so we're gonna go. Let's do this one first. Let's do this this transition first. There we go. So no matter where you are, as you can see at the top where it says make donations to Paleocrat Diaries with PayPal, it has aleebannister@gmail.com. I did this before the show. That way it wouldn't be a problem. Because yesterday there were all sorts of issues, all sorts of them. And I think I posted like 3 times and it was a mistake every single time. Always putting the @ symbol in front of it. But anyway, so right there you can see we're on a whole bunch of platforms, okay? You got YouTube, you got Facebook, you've got DLive, you've got Twitch. I think somewhere in here we've got Instagram, I think, all right, because we're also streaming over there. So no matter where you are, it doesn't matter what channel you are watching this show on, we can see the comments. So if you comment throughout the program, we can go ahead and address those. And I got it real quick, right? Normally I allow it to like kind of build up after a while, and then I kind of scroll through and everything like that. And so, but I want to give you an example of this. That way you can trust that throughout the remainder of the show, that if you comment, your boy can see it. So, for example, we begin today with Karen. We begin with you, Karen. And she's a G. And she doesn't like rap. She says rap is offensive. Well, I guess it would depend on what you mean by that. Like, is it the beat that offends you? Like, is it the fact that they use rhyme schemes? Like, what is it exactly that offends you? And what was in that intro specifically that offended you? Or is it just the sound of it? You hear the sound of those beats or those instruments, you know? Do electronic instruments bother you? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'd like to know. So, Karen, you're a G, which is weird that a G would not like rap. That's a little bit weird. It is not weird, however, that a Karen would complain about my rap. So, I don't mean to be too rude. I hope that you're okay with the shtick. If you're not, that's okay. But yeah, she says it's offensive. She's on YouTube. On Facebook, Rachel says, LOL, good morning. Good morning to you. I'm going to talk about something related to you. Very happy to see you, by the way. And your husband's the man who's one of my heroes. Definitely a huge fan of his. So we're going to talk about that. On YouTube, we got Holy Faith Media. That's the big dog here. Those are the powers that be. And the powers that be, pretty good, man. Pretty awesome. I'm glad to be, real close with those guys. With the guy. So really glad to be with him. He says hello. It's good to see you. And no Instagram today. That's okay. It's part of the whole Facebook cabal, man. Although I'm kind of wondering about the powers that be, man, with Holy Faith Media, because, it's Facebook and it's Instagram and it's WhatsApp, and I'm thinking, man, I'm starting to think you're boys with old Zuckerberg, and it's like, you're a spy, you got me, man, you got me, buddy. No, I love you, dude. He's an amazing guy, by the way. He's an extremely hard worker, and if you don't know Jonathan Rosh, you got to know him. You got to know him. He's a great guy, and he does a really great job with Holy Faith Media. It's his vision. It's his baby. And he's nurturing it, man. He is nurturing that every single day. It's so good And it's so nutritious. It's like, he's figured out how to, male breastfeed or something. Like, to the network. He's got it all nestled up, man. I don't know why I say this stuff. But the thing is, he's a great guy. He's a really great guy, and just absolutely, absolutely love him. He's become a really cool friend, and I'd love to actually be able to meet him. He lives in Canada, so it makes it kind of hard, and especially, they're on the front lines of the New World Order crap. So he's kind of infiltrated. He's doing a good job. I'm really proud of him, man. So, yeah, good afternoon to Night Shift. So Night Shift, I don't know where you are, but you're obviously not where I happen to reside here in Michigan, because in Michigan, it's bright and, well, it's not bright and early. It's early-ish, 10 o'clock, 10-ish kind of thing. So it's not afternoon. So I don't know where you are, the other side of the pond or something. Maybe an island in the pond that nobody really knows much about. So, all right, let's all pray for our Holy Father. Yes, I believe in that. I believe we should. And in fact, I had an article, and I'll need to look it up during one of the videos, because it's what the thumbnail's about. And I think I forgot to tuck the article in here about a pact that was made essentially between the Pope, the Vatican, and his vision for an economy, and a bunch of these New World Ordites. I mean, it's not even like, it's like one of those things that you can read in one of those, what's the name of this guy, Jim Mars or something like that, or Alex Jones, the old school Alex Jones, when he was still talking about Trilateral Commission and Council on Foreign Relations all the time, and he was using Rothschilds and all that stuff, and imagining in the Vatican, because there's people who are like, well, the Vatican's all mixed up, and you would see those things in conspiracy books, and then later, like, I don't know, what, yesterday, all of a sudden it's all over the news, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's just wearing it on its sleeve now, and you're like, oh, you're with the Rothschilds, that's really cute. And so, it's kind of a messed up thing. In fact, not kind of, it's extremely messed up what's going on, and the kind of buddies that all of a sudden our Pope has made chums with, and it's startling. In fact, it's disconcerting. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we have to pray for him. It's not just, this isn't, pile on the pontiff day here. We don't do that. I've stated that before, that I don't even feel comfortable necessarily talking about stuff like that. And so, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Good afternoon from Spain. Bergoglio is evil and satanic, period. There's a lot of people, and I'm really cautious about like I said, piling on the Pope. I'm really cautious because I'm a layperson. I love talking theology. I've studied it a great deal. I like talking about apologetics. I've studied that a great deal. I love the Catholic Church. I've lived that a great deal, and I very much love everything about it. I love the theology. I love the liturgy. I love the hierarchy. I love the history. I love the martyrs and the saints and the doctors. I love it all. And I understand the idea of hierarchy and the tendency, especially on social media, to level everything, right? That a hierarchy isn't much of a hierarchy. It's just another name on social media. Or that we are not lay people, but somehow we have this magical insight. And so I try not to play with the magic crystal ball too much with other people, especially with a hierarchy. But if it's something public, you can say something about it and say, look, this is obviously bad. And we're going to do that. So, Karen G. Okay, look, Karen, I got you. You say it's awful. So if I ask, Karen, you're killing me. You are killing me, Karen. I ask you, I say, what was it specifically about the music? Was it the beat? Was it the rhyme scheme? Did you not like, the A-B rhyme scheme? Do you prefer Dante's, what was it, Tears of Rima? How would you pronounce that? Do you prefer that? Is that what it is? Are you, what's going on here? Do you like epic poetry? You're more into the style of poetry with Homer? You're like, I don't like that stuff even rhymes. Milton didn't. He wrote about it, and so like, is that what you don't like? And I asked specifically, and what you give me, it's awful. Come on. I'm asking you to use the mind here, not the gut. Okay, because you can have somebody will say, no, it's awesome. It's just, it's an awesome intro. I really like that rap song. It's really great. It's awesome. I like it. And then your next one, what was the next one you said? Have I heard of Mozart? Are you serious? Have you heard how to spell you? Why, oh why? Have you heard of Mozart? Yes. Of course I have, you weirdo. Yeah, of course I have. What are you talking about? Why are you being rude? Why are you being rude? Why not play uplifting music? And again, there's the other thing is that you can sit there and say, well, okay, why don't I play uplifting music? For one, I think that is rather uplifting. I do. The other thing is I don't believe in, I don't want to go on forever about this because I could. And in fact, there's a debate. You can go and you can watch. I'm part of a discussion with Kennedy Hall and Tim Flanders on meaning of Catholic, and my buddy Dave Hodges. He's the godfather of my son Lucian Ignatius, and he got on the show. He's a classical composer. He also happens to really enjoy metal. He reviews rock music, but he's composed many songs. He teaches his kids only to begin on classical guitar and piano. He plays multiple instruments. He can actually write out music. He's studied it. He has studied the history of music, the various genres of music, as well as the theory, music theory. So he's not a chump. And he comes, and he's a faithful Latin Mass Catholic. He goes with the FSSP, shows up, and we debate the issue. And I think that I think we did quite well. I think if you took the time to go listen to that, I think you wouldn't say silly things like, have I ever heard of Mozart? Give me a break. It's one of those things. I listen to it a lot, especially, I happen to like classical music, by the way. I don't like classical music at the beginning of a morning show. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Mozart playing and all of a sudden we're talking about the great animal uprising of 2020? Or the fact, that somebody bought a Gatling gun and made it into kind of a car to ride around. Can you imagine that? Give me a break. And somebody said rap is ugly. Oh, it's still Karen. Rap is ugly. Again, okay, you like chocolate, I like vanilla. You better have a better theory by the way of beauty and a better theory of music before you come in slinging stones. King David had God on his side. Not everybody's so lucky with some pebbles. So I would say, try to do a little bit better. It's aggressive and ugly. Well, it may be aggressive. Yes, okay. I grant that. Ugly, again, we see different things, I guess, when we look into the mirror. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm not going to go on forever, man. I feel really bad that I'm even spending so much time on Karen, because she's probably a decent person, probably a pumpkin pie bacon grandmother. And I don't want to dog her too badly. And we got too many other good people in the comments. One person, Angry Azralina, says, I love the pipe organ. So do I. And I love the pipe organ, especially within the confines of sacred music. But I listen to it sometimes outside of that space. And I like it in part because it can go from majestic to even, aggressive. I do. It can be warlike. Imagine that. It can play on multiple different, and you know what? It's crazy because a lot of the arguments that people use against rap and stuff like that and saying sacred music are the exact same arguments that were made and are made to this day by a number of Protestants who don't believe that you should have pipe organs. It's ugly. It's aggressive. It's loud. I'm serious. I don't know what to tell you about that. It's thunderous. Kind of like God. Kind of like the spiritual war that we deal with all the time. That's why you have these different things. But it just kind of blows my mind. But I've been doing this for too long, and I've said too much already. And you can, of course, go and hear the debate that took place at Meaning of Catholic. You can go and listen, and it will give you a good idea. And you can walk away, and at least then you'll have more than it's ugly or I know like it, because that's what it comes across like. All righty. Yeah, Holy Face said it. They said the same thing about the pipe organ. Yes, dude, birds of a feather, my man. Birds of a feather. I am so grateful for you, dude, in the comments. I'm sorry, man, we've been talking in these comments for a while. I don't even care. This is my show. I can do it. Brian Parker, good morning, Paleocrat. And the Wolf Pack, taking coffee straight to the dome and taking a knee for Jesus. It's what we do here. Jonathan says he loves rap. He says Kanye 2024. Joe doesn't like that, though. Joe says that Kanye is a sellout. He said he's a sellout. And, I like Kanye's music. And not just the his new album with Jesus is King, right? It's not just that one. I like other songs that he's done. I don't like every song that he's done. I don't like every message of every song that he's done. But there's a lot of songs. I think he's one of the most talented rappers in the world. He's one of the most talented rappers. Maybe sometime we can go and talk about our favorite rap groups. Maybe we can do. The Pope declared the year of Jesus' girl, the year of St. Joseph on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So we are to have hope and to pray for him. Look, that's the thing. You got to know. You know, you got to deal with it, man. And I got to say this, you know, I am a critic of the UN, right? I'm a critic of the New World Order. We talk about it all the time. In fact, I talk about the New World Order in a way that maybe Alex Jones used to, right? When he was talking and people like Mark Dice, when that was the main thing he was kind of doing. And Mark Dice has moved on, he's doing other things now. He still talks about it, but it's really, you know, it's not an emphasis of his. It doesn't really play into so much of what he's saying. He's kind of cautious about it. And Alex Jones, I mean, he used to make all these documentaries, and now, you know, he's kind of like a very enthusiastic Rush Limbaugh in a way. And that's not to dog him. I mean, I props to where they're due. Got one of the most listened to radio and TV shows, online TV shows in the world. I mean, so you look at it and you say it's a big deal, but they don't really talk about it so much anymore. But I do. And one of the things that in the years talking about it and studying Catholic social teaching is that the popes have always had an idea of globalism that is based on like an imperium, right? The imperial dynamic of the Catholic Church, the global mission, the very definition of our being Catholic, not only in time, you're right, in time through the past and the future, but also globally, right? Universally, right? That we are the Catholic Church. And so there's always been a dynamic of that and the authority that goes with that, the jurisdiction, in fact, that goes with that, and the idea of trying to bring different nations together, which is why you can go back for a long time. Even pre, when it was Sedevacantists, people who believe the popes aren't really popes anymore, those guys, even them, you got to go back and you say, man, they're talking about UN stuff too. You know, they're talking about the League of Nations all coming together and being buddy chums and stuff. And so you have to temper the criticism. You have to understand, like, okay, can you say something about an organization or an idea of bringing nations together while still respecting sovereignty? And I think, you know, in fact, I think that's something that you can see. And I think that my buddy Levi Russell, he does a good job of pointing out, because he's an America First guy. But he's also someone who can look at some of the post, even more recent encyclicals about politics and economics, political economy, and say that it is not in any way separate from the tradition of social encyclicals. And in fact, that it's part of that development of that. So, I don't know. I'd like to have him on to talk about that, because I do have questions about it. See, Brian says, the music you play for the show fits well. Thank you very much, man. I actually appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, my gosh. Matt says, good morning. Off today, so I get to watch live. Dude, I am really glad to see you, by the way. Both of you guys. Really great guys. Good morning from Wisconsin. Yes, good morning to you. Really appreciate that. Let's see. It says, Jennifer Fulweiler likes rap. Who's Jennifer Fulweiler? I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. Let's see here. Flashing Lights was terrific. Dude, I agree with you, man. Yes, man. Yeah, and Brian says his musical tastes are all over the board. Michael says, what if it comes out that the Pope is a Mason? Can pious Catholic men run up and yank him in defense of protection? You know, what would be the canon law on that, by the way? What would be the canon law on that? You know, let's put it this way. If it comes out publicly that he is a Mason, like a full-blown Mason, it's incontrovertible proof that he's a Freemason, then he's not the Pope anymore. And more than that, he would not actually be a Roman Catholic anymore. In fact, he'd be one of the worst human beings in the world, because he would know better. He would know what that is. He'd be a scheming scoundrel. And so if a lay person went up under those conditions and whacked him in the jaw, I'd be like, okay, today's whack a Freemason day. Today's especially whack a Freemason who, comes on in and infiltrates and becomes a pope. I mean, if that was the case, that's what it is. It's what it is. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And that's a serious question. That's a serious question. We don't know where stuff's going to go. All right, we're moving on, guys. We talked a long time. And by the way, that's to show you, we really do like to engage in this stuff, right? We really like to engage in the comments. We like to speak with the different people and hear what's going on with you guys and hear what your thoughts are. And we try to do that even throughout the show. Sometimes it can get a little tough to do that. But we always try. Can I make that actually bigger? Oh, I could have made it bigger. Not by much, though. So, yeah, but we enjoy doing that. And it's one of the things we really like about the show is that it's engaging, right? We don't have callers. I'm accustomed to that because I did AM/FM radio for so long. And so I'm used to having people just call and they want to talk about it. And we don't have that. So this is the closest thing. And I really like that in real time discussion with people. I think it's really good. So, all right, remember, go to paleocratdiaries.com where you can find the contact page. Right there is my mega hot half Korean wife, Ailey. And that's the one, by the way, when I say, oh, yeah, you can go ahead and send us donations via PayPal. We're appreciative for all of those. We're really grateful because 100% of the funds made by this show go toward the continued education, the Catholic classical education of my children at Sacred Heart Academy in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And you can do that aleebannister@gmail.com. And so you can find that. It's got all of that. Of course, you can become a member. If you'd rather not do PayPal, you'd like to just be a $5 recurring donation. If you do this, you are a bona fide member of the Paleo Naughty over at paleocratdiaries.com. And if you'd like to connect with me for interviews, debates, that sort of thing, even public speaking, all of those details are available at paleocratdiaries.com. All righty. So first things first, man. First things first. And by the way, this is the last call. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is the last call, okay, for an answer. Because I said whoever gets the answer is going to receive a book with a message from our family on the inside. We'll write a handwritten message on the inside of the book, front cover, and have everybody sign it and stuff like that. And maybe even make some little art stuff that goes with it of a book from the Paleocrat Diaries library. It's quite extensive. We got a whole number of different books and different, genres of books and stuff. And so if you get the answer to this question, and look, I thought I thought that someone would be able to get it by this point. But we're going to reveal at the end of the funny conversations, we are going to reveal the answer to this question. And so if you send, before we play it, if you send the answer to this question to paleocratdiaries@gmail.com, then you win the book. You win the book and the art from the kids, right? Special gifts from the kids. And so we want to put that together, put a nice little gift package there for you. And the question of the day, we've done this for a couple days. This is the last day to do it because we're going to reveal the answer. And the question, get ready, guys, okay? You may as well just pull up your mail right now and just throw it out there because somebody's going to win. Okay, somebody's going to win, but you got to do it. You got to do it. And the question, I think, is easy. I've also been telling it for a very long time, but here's the question. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? What is it? What do you call it? Right? What do you call a mouse that has been mixed up, transformed into Count Dracula? What's the answer? If you got the answer to that, you can win a book, as well as a handwritten note from us on the inside cover, as well as possibly little cards and drawings and stuff from my family. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, speaking of a lot of fun, Detroit Democrat is stripped of state House committee seats after terroristic threats against Trump supporters when she said, walk lightly, we ain't playing. Remember yesterday, guys? when did we talk about this? Let me think here. Oh, yesterday. That's right. We talked about this yesterday. We played the video. I went hog wild on this lady. Just absolutely wrecked her. Let's see here. Oh, somebody put in the comments. What the heck? Somebody put stuff in. Okay, I'm not even going to give that because that might give away an answer. That person needs to delete it immediately. It's a family member. You can't do that. And that's a hint. The answer apparently is inside of the comment section to the question of the day. I just saw it. It came up there. Blank comes out. So if you didn't know the answer, but you want the book real bad, you got to go to YouTube. I'm assuming that it is youtube.com/paleocrat, and you will see the answer in the comment section. Why did you do that? Oh, and then they put JK. Oh, jerk. Oh, man, you guys are fired. I'm firing my own family. But look, you remember this lady? Went bonkers. Went bonkers, man. She was talking this terrible stuff, dude, about, you guys gotta go out there and make those Trumpers pay. You gotta make them feel it. Doing all that crap. I'm calling on my soldiers. Yeah, she was calling all of her soldiers, all of her thugs. Well, see, here's the thing. Yeah, right here. Yeah, okay, somebody said, should I even bother with the FBI? This is a terroristic threat by Michigan House Representative. This is unacceptable. And here's the crazy thing about it. Lee Chatfield. Oh, man. Michigan politician, man. Michigan House of Representatives says threats to Democrats or Republicans are unacceptable and un-American. They're even more unbecoming of an elected official. Representative C.A. Johnson has been stripped of her committees, and we are looking into further disciplinary action as the proper authorities conduct their investigation. Oh, dang, son. What did I say? I said it sounded criminal. It sounded like she was inciting violence. Inciting violence, man. The Speaker of the House here. We've been consistent in our position on this. Violence and intimidation is never appropriate in politics. We've said that about threats against Governor Whitmer, Secretary Benson, Representative Johnson herself, and others. That applies to threats made toward public officials, and it must also apply when the threats come from public officials. Behavior like this will not be tolerated this term or next. Yeah, because remember, she's also the person on November 21st. She wrote, there was a Soylent Crumbs. Who's she even following? What a weirdo. Says, when this nightmare is over, we need a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It would erase Trump's lies. It would comfort those who have been harmed by his hatefulness and name every official, politician, executive, and media mogul whose blah, 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 probably whose greed made them peddle these lies. Maybe she could be like Robert Reich and add to that, right? Add to that by saying maybe even people, everyday folks, maybe they need to go through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Maybe they need the old, a Clockwork Orange scheme. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I believed in America first. I'm so sorry I supported American jobs. I'm so sorry I believed in red and yellow, black and white were precious in his sight. And I'm really sorry that I still believe in boys and girls. What a freaking joke, man. What a freaking joke. And what did she say? Cynthia Johnson. And I'll help. I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. You're definitely one of those people that is, really scary. Really scary, authoritarian, totalitarian streak going on with you. The vibe is strong. The vibe is really, really, really strong. Unbelievable. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It didn't just start out of nowhere. Okay? It didn't just start out of nowhere. It started 7:30 a.m. I'd like to report this. Elected official Cynthia A. Johnson for inciting a riot. In this video, you can clearly hear her stating and calling on her soldiers to do the right thing. We know what she means. Didn't she say make them feel it? Or what did she say? It was more than that. More than do the right thing. More than that. Make them pay? What was it, man? It was so messed up. I had to pause it like 3 times. I'm like, holy cow, this lady. Wow, man. Unbelievable. In the video, she's also wishing that it was her private group video so she could go and elaborate further with her threats. But since the video is public, she has to restrain herself, even though she is clearly intoxicated. And come to find out, that text, right, about 5 o'clock in the morning, John was going over. John, by the way, John is one of the Wolfpack guys. He is with Us Against the Media. And I got to tell you, Us Against the Media, once this happened, all of a sudden, guess what? John's website was also taken down. He'd put together a petition to file a class action lawsuit against the major media companies. His website was removed, and he was given no reason whatsoever. Unbelievable. He's part of the group, man. He's part of the group. We showed the video, by the way. We showed the video of the guy in Michigan, a handful of dudes, and they went to the governor's mansion, right, with a wall all around it, with a gate all around it, went there and was shouting on a megaphone. shouting on a megaphone and letting the governor know, say, look, we don't support what you're doing. You are a tyrant. You are acting like an empress. It was amazing. We shared that video. Yeah, he's with that. He's with that. And so now you've got even groups like the Epoch Times reaching out to him right now. What was it, last night, I think, reaching out to him. We'll talk about that article later. So I had to talk about that, though. I had to talk about that because we're connected with people at the front lines, guys. We're connected with patriots on the show. We're connected with people who, in their own right, doing their own thing, right? Sometimes for years and years and years. These people doing their own thing, sitting there fighting tooth and nail to make America great, to make Michigan great. And it's awesome. And so to say, man, I know this guy, or I know the people associated with him again, behind CNN that had the megaphones that were talking, CNN sucks on the megaphones, and the person's like, what am I going to do? Yeah. I'm really proud, man. He's a hero, by the way. He's a hero. So, all right, on to the point. What the heck is this, dude? What the heck is this, man? Okay, you guys, I got to get to the circle screen. I got to get to the circle screen here because you got to be able to see more of this. Okay. Let's see. There we go. There we go. It's all right. Let's see. Coca-Cola, 1899. Check out that buff dog, dude. Look at that dog's arms. Coca-Cola, 2020. In 1899, had cocaine and other drugs. What other drugs, by the way, were in there? What other drugs, man? What other drugs were in Coca-Cola back in 1899? I know that wine used. What didn't wine used to have cocaine? Didn't Pope Leo the 13th? Didn't he used to drink a little bit of that wine that had the cocaine in it? Oh, the new one. People use it to clean their toilets. The new stuff. And do they really do that? And by the way, man, what kind of scheme is this? What kind of weird genetic mutation is happening here, guys? Is this the Frankenscience? Is this what we got to look forward to? Really buff Chad dogs, you know, in old half dog, half Coca-Cola bottle? I don't know, man. And here's the thing, dude. We would know. It's kind of a weird thing, man. We would know where that comes from because I think Mexico, isn't Mexico one of the only places anymore that actually has like the original bottles and stuff? So they're all Mexicans. They're all Mexicans, dude. We're going to have a bunch of them. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. And this one, too. I mean, obviously, the one with the buff arms is a bazillion times better. It's a bazillion times better. Would you guys try that, by the way? If someone said, hey, look, we've remanufactured, right? Like we brought it back. Kind of like they did for a while with that crystal clear Pepsi. You know, didn't they bring that back for half a second? So they bring stuff back. You know, I'm waiting. They're going to bring back Tab, guys. Don't worry. They'll bring back Tab. They're going to do it. And when they bring back Tab, you know, people are going to love it. It's going to be a real craze. Everybody's going to be really excited. You know, but if they brought this stuff back here and it had the cocaine and the other drugs in it, would you at least try a sip of it? Would you do it? You know, and if not, why are you judging the people from back then? Why are you judging them, man? You come off like a SJW liberal or something. Always bashing the people of the past. They were a bunch of drug users. No, they happen to like pop. And it is called pop, okay? It's not cola. It is not soda. And it's definitely not Coke. If you call pop Coke, I know the answers to that, by the way. I know they'll be like, oh, do you call ear swabs Q-tips? And I'm like, no, they're ear swabs. You know, you can't use a mistake to justify your mistake and act like it's not a mistake. Ear swabs are ear swabs, man. Tissues are tissues, not Kleenex. Do you have a Kleenex? That's like asking, do you have a Coke? What kind of Coke? Kind of crap drives me nuts, guys. Oh, man. All my Southern belles are going to be mad now. They're going to be like, come on, man. Come on, Paleo. I liked you. And all of a sudden now, man, you're ragging on Coke. And I'm like, well, no. I'm ragging on, you know. Well, the answer would have to be, no. What do you mean by that? Which Coke are you talking about? All right. Mother, I want my son to be a scientist. Father, say no more. Okay. Yeah, quantum entanglement for babies. Look at the baby's face. Look at that baby's face. Like, what? Whoa. Those are big words. Yeah. Have you ever pushed the boundaries? All of you with kids. Have you ever pushed the boundaries? And ladies, have you ever pushed your husband to push the boundaries like that with the kids and be like, look, you really got to set the standard for excellence. And you're like, okay, so you bring out some book on, chess, and you're sitting down with your 1-year-old and you're going through chess moves and stuff. Have you guys ever done that? I have. I'm like, look, if they hear these big words and they just, throughout time, they grow up being familiar with hearing large words and weird concepts and seeing graphs and everything, then it won't come across as so bizarre. I mean, it's a major departure, from Sesame Street, Sid the Science Kid. By the way, I don't like that show. What do you guys feel about that show? I don't like Sid the Science Kid. It actually bothers me, dude. Like, it's one of those shows I watch and I'm just like, oh, come on now. This is bad. No, this is bad. Dude, this is somebody shoving it in our face. Oh, it's a wolf pack tattoo. Holy cow. No, dude, because if this guy was part of the wolf pack, he would be determined that he's not going to long have a belly like that. And if that belly starts to get smaller and smaller, that wolf is not going to look very attractive. It's going to be a very wrinkly wolf. It'll be a Shar-Pei. And people will be like, hey, man, I really like the Shar-Pei on your stomach. And he's going to be like, why would you do this? Unless you've committed to the idea that you are going to, for the remainder of your life, remain a fat slob. I'm sorry to tell you. Like, that's just the case. And we have to be able to say that. We have to be able to say that. Okay? I look at myself in the mirror sometimes. And I'm like, bro, you're a fat slob. You're a fat slob. I have to be able to tell myself that. Because you got to be able to be honest, man. The harsh truths. I remember when I was younger, I was at my buddy's house. And his mom, we were over there over at his mom's house and stuff. And she was a smoker, and I'm sitting there, I'm smoking. And I was too young to be smoking, She probably should have been on my case about that. But she was okay. She's like, whatever. He bought his own smokes. He's doing his own thing. But I'm sitting there, I was I think 16, 17 years old, and I was smoking like a chimney. Like 20, probably 20 or more cigarettes a day back then. And she's like, Jeremiah, you're a chain smoker. And I said, what? And she's like, you don't even finish one, and you use that to light up another one and set that one in the tray and finish the other one. Like, and you do that all day long. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's really terrible. Like, that's not a compliment. That's a really bad thing. But that hit me pretty hard. Even all these years later, to sit there, and every time that I've ever struggled with nicotine, and that's been a struggle of mine, every time, it kind of haunts me. Kind of like this picture here is really haunting me, dude. But I don't know. Maybe he's a member of the wolf pack. Maybe he's a member. If he's a member, he's like, I'm a paying member. He's like, I'm not just a member. I'm a member of the Paleocrat. I'm a bona fide, card-carrying, dyed-in-the-wool member. Dude, it's rough. It's rough, guys. America's future is a liberal fascist state peppered with smiling maskers armed with a syringe. This is from Mr. Charleston. Okay. That sounds like really serious. What's going on about this? Okay, well, it's really serious. It's like seriously messed up. Look at the guy's mask. What is he doing? What is it? Okay, that's got to be a car filter, right? On top. It's a car filter. So do you think this guy's being serious, or do you think this is a good example of somebody who's like, no. I mean, I guess, look, he's taking it seriously, guys. He's taking it very, very seriously. It says, Anthony the Great, the time is coming when men will go mad, and when they see someone who is not mad, they will attack him, saying, you are mad. You are not like us. I think we're actually there right now. I think we are actually there right now. Oh, man. In the comments, someone said, she's not a lady, she is demonic. Oh, yeah. I agree with you, man. The person on the... And you know what, Karen? Look, you stuck around, and it's an agreement we have. I agree with you. Yes, I am really grateful. And I sincerely hope that you understand a little bit of the shtick of the show. I don't, in real life, I'm not like, doing all that stuff, right? This is a show. It's a morning show. And so we have fun with it, and we have fun even with commenters and stuff. And I really hope that talking to you about music and stuff, that it didn't burn you. By the look of it, it didn't. So I want to say I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you stuck around, Karen. And I hope we can become friends, because, I'm okay being friends with people who are, wrong about music and stuff. Yeah, I hope there's a wink with that, okay? Let's see. How do these people get voted into office? In the comments, talking about the lady, the not lady. I just got done saying that. Yeah, the demoniac sitting there threatening all the Trump supporters and telling all of her soldiers to go, the thug army, to go and hurt people. Let them pay. Let them feel it. Make it known. Do it right. That thing. It's amazing, guys. It's amazing. Yeah, let's see here. All right. It says, Lauren Hoffman, add Cynthia Johnson to the squad. Yeah, that's the lady again, man. She is basically, right? She is. She's a new member of the squad, with AOC and the rest of the weirdos, Mrs. Omar. Let's see. Somebody says lithium was in 7-Up. Is that true? Is that true? The mood stabilizer. Dude, wow. Yeah, that's Golf Bronze. Is it Golf Brazen Sun? What would it be? What would it be, man? When people put letters like that together, right? Golf BRZN Sun. What, Brothers and Son. Brothers and Son. Okay, Golf Brothers and Son. Okay, I get, all right, man, maybe. Maybe that's it. It sounds a little bit more legit than Brothers and Son. I didn't know where to go with it, man. I didn't know where to go with it. But that's weird. I didn't know anything about that, about lithium being in pop. Is that true, guys? What weird stuff has been inside of things that we've digested? And it really brings up the question, and this is actually a serious one. I don't want to get into it or anything, but it's a serious question in debates over drugs on whether or not to classify drugs as food. And that there are, what is the distinction, especially when we don't classify sugar as a drug, for example. And a lot of the other chemists, people say, well, they're not, it's not, it's unnatural, right? The chemicals, and I don't even want to get into debate on what that means, but the idea of, well, these are artificial, these are synthetic. And you go, dude, look at the ingredients on, for example, the corn pops in the picture. And tell me, and you can say, well, that's not food, and say, but it's sold as food. It's sold as food, Sonny and Chad Forever says, Mexican Coke, I believe, is sweetened with cane sugar. I believe that, too. I've actually had Mexican Coke before. I've had it a couple different times, in fact, and it was really delicious. It was the kind of thing where, you go and you're in Mexico and you're eating food and you want to buy, some water or anything because you get the Diablo pepper meal where it's like a Diablo. It's their hottest pepper wrapped in a hot pepper, soaked in the juice of a hot pepper, smothered with hot pepper, and that kind of a thing. And you're like, I'd like a glass of water, please, with that. And they're like, we don't sell any water. You got to go over to the mall next door. You're like, what? What are you talking about? And it's true. Like you couldn't drink the water. You couldn't drink the water in Juarez, man. They're like, oh no, you got to go buy the water over at the mall. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I said, well, just give me a Coke, And I thought they were going to bring me, a glass of Coke. No, they brought it in a bottle, and it was amazing actually. Brian says I call them Q-tips. Brian, talking about ear swabs, dude. Okay, you might call them that, but people who call pop Coke, they use that same argument because Q-tips is a brand, son. And why are you supporting the monopoly, dude? You're supporting the monopoly. Every time someone thinks of ear swabs, they're always thinking, Q-tip all the time. And it's our fault. We've let capitalism down, dude. We've let capitalism down. Sonny says, I think Sid the Science Kid is not on TV anymore. That would be a good thing, actually. That'd be a good thing. Like it wasn't good. I don't think it was very good, man. And I'm kind of bored with a lot of the new animation, to be honest. What do you guys feel about that? What do you feel about that? Tell me in the comments. What's better, right? The art in old Disney movies. Like you even go back to the era of like Aristocats or 101 Dalmatians and stuff. And then the modern stuff, like even Lilo and Stitch, for example. You know, it's not to dog on that. In fact, I've got my Ohana mug here. Oh, you know, that was a big deal for our family when we were going through childhood cancer and stuff. And so, like, it's a big deal for us as kind of a mascot. But if someone said, how do you like the art on that? You know, how do you like the way that they draw stuff? And I say, I feel like so much of it's cookie cutter now, man. It's so cookie cutter. It looks like the same people. Well, no, not. In fairness, not that one. Not that one. Because they kind of made everybody just look like aliens. And they made everybody look funky, dude. Yeah. Let's see. People saying they don't like Sesame Street or Sid the Science Kid. Yeah. And the wolf on that guy's belly looks like it's afraid of something. Okay, we got to keep cooking. My calculating how many hours of sleep I'll get if I watch one more episode. Like, do you guys have this? I recently had this happen. I was watching, every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, I'll hop on, and sit down with the family. We're watching TV, We'll watch TV. And my wife has been going through Little House on the Prairie. We really like that show. In fact, it's kind of funny. I was telling the kids, I said when I was young, real little, when I started talking, it was mommy and daddy. My dad was daddy. And that's how it was. And then later, as they began watching a lot of these shows, a lot of the Little House, I began just organically, right? Just spontaneously, I started calling him Pa. And now he's Pa. And he's been Pa for the whole family ever since. I'm the oldest child. I'm the firstborn. I am the firstborn of the family. And so, kind of set that bar. And now he's just Pa. He goes by Paps for a grandparent thing. And to be honest, and I know he doesn't listen to the show, so I can say whatever I want about him. I can talk about my dad behind his back. Because I know he's not even tuning in, man. I know he's not tuning in. He's a busy guy. He also listens to, boomer radio and stuff. But, the thing is Paps, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Gramps, I get that, man. I get Gramps, right? Grandpa, I get that. But Paps, even Pappy, stuff like that. My stepdad, he goes by Poppy, which is a first time. I've never heard anything like that before. But I get it. But Paps, I don't know, man. There's too many prayers. Too many prayers that use that same word for suckling, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. To do with suckling, right? That kind of thing. But recently I was watching Little House, and I'm sitting up, and I'm really excited, man. We're at the place. It's kind of going down a little bit, right? It's at the place where Laura gets married. Manly's in it now. Oh, you've got oh boy, the football player, man. What's that guy's name? Mr. Garvey. You got him. He's now like a deputy in another town and stuff like that. So it's kind of changing a lot, the dynamic. They're getting older. And so that kind of stuff happens. But I was really intrigued by it. Nellie gets married. She gets married to that, very, very little Jewish guy. I was wondering, like, what's that dude, like, has that guy been in other movies? Like, what's going on with that? Because I'm looking at him, I think, man, he kind of looks familiar. But what else has he been on? I don't know. I didn't look it up. But it got late. It was like, about 11:30, 11:45. And I'm thinking, man, I got to wake up in the morning. I got to do the show. I got to get ready, do all my morning routine. And I'm thinking, man, dude, I really want to see the next episode. It was to be continued. And I'm like, oh, man. And I'm looking up at the clock and I'm thinking about it. I'm looking up at the clock and thinking about it. Processing it, man. I do it, man. How many more episodes can I watch? Oh, man. What's this? Okay. What? Is this a warning? Is this a warning, dude? What is this? Who sent this, man? Who sent this? This is predictive programming crap, and this show is not going to be used by the animal elite of the new animal order. It ain't gonna happen. Not on this show. You send me stuff like this, where a cat gets up and a cat is all of a sudden president talking to us going, no. No. New people who are tuning in right now are like, oh my gosh, dude, what is happening? This is happening. Wake up, America. This is on my platform. I'm going to run for office one day, believe me. when I run for office, man, this kind of crap, I'm going to be going around all over the place talking about it. Talking about saying we will never allow this to happen. We won't, guys. We ain't allowing that to happen. Men, I don't feel like working out today. Maybe tomorrow. I get that, guys. I get that. Or, you know what's even worse is when you sit there and you say, well, I want to work out. I want to work out today. Or you tell yourself, yeah, I'm going to go down. I'm going to do a HIIT program. And you don't do it. Today, by the way, I will do a HIIT program today. When the show is over, today I'm going to do a 15-minute HIIT program. I think I'm going to do the one, I think it's the one from Palm Springs with the body coach. And if you don't know who that guy is, really cool to follow. He's got really great programs, some of them for people with bad knees, some of them with people with bad backs, things like that are low impact. He's very encouraging, but he's also one of those guys that he plays both things. He's like encouraging you to do your best and to give it everything you've got, don't quit. But then he's also one of those that says, look, if you got to take an extra break, pause the video, or if you need to do kind of a different version, right? Push-ups on the knees or whatever, that you can do that too. There's no shame in this. It's the idea of getting you active every day. So I know what that's like. I'll work out tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Every day you must choose between the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Whoa! Yeah, mother. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an encouraging meme. That's really inspiring. The artwork and everything. Very inspiring. Oh, man. Let's see here. What's this? Oh, yeah. Okay. Somebody said this to me yesterday. Anthony over at Catholic ZM. Or Catholicism. Sorry about that. Catholicism with a Z. Paleocrat, these guys are trying to convince me that Dracula is the last validly ordained priest. And only he can elect a legitimate pope after the Novus Ordo sect and their anti-popes are gone. Sounds pretty plausible. Yeah, so apparently Louis R. over here with the no picture in the bio. Look at that. Okay. So Louis R., a Sede guy. He's also one of those people who has a very inconsistent use of capital letters. Like, there's, that's properly capitalized. No, okay. Real presence, okay, that makes sense. Inside, okay, Novus Ordo Missae. Now, that makes sense. Invalid right. Don't know what that, why, but, anyway, it bothers me badly when I see that kind of stuff. Like, it was, who was it recently, man? Who was it recently? Is it Cornyn? Politician Jeb Bush recently. He crawled out from, the rock that he's been living under. I'm sorry, the whack that he's been living under for the last couple years. Crawled out to be like, yes, you're right. There's no case to be made. And Donald Trump and everything going on with the election, there's no case and it's no theory behind it. Blah, 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 blah. And by the way, easily just shot out of the park. Bam. Robert Barnes. End up sharing it just, there's no theory behind it. Oh, here's the statue. Blows it out of the water. Says, okay, not hard to do, by the way. But the politician, right? Is it James Cornyn? Or what is it, man? Corbyn? Trying to remember here, man. Got to look this up, man. Hold on. Let's see here. Jeb Bush. Okay. Jeremy Corbyn. I don't remember who it was. I'm so sorry about that. And I'm sorry that I'm hacking those names to pieces. But the truth is that, this politician, right, that Jeb Bush is referring to, speaking authoritatively, doesn't use capital letters at the beginning of sentences. But other things are capitalized. I'm thinking, what's wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with you? Floby, feeling... Okay. We go from talking about Jeb Bush to talking about Flobies, right? This is all over the place, guys. Super bipolar today. Super bipolar. All over the stinking map. Floby. And George Clooney in the same conversation. Feeling the George Clooney effect. Sales up, then sold out. Okay, wait a second. Is it TMZ? Ever since George Clooney revealed he cuts his own hair with a do-it-yourself device. No way. No way. No way. How long has he been doing this? Do-it-yourself device. Is it the actual Flowbee? Famous for its old infomercials, people have been going with the Flowbee. So much that Flowbee is now out of stock. The actor's public shout out in support of the product last week resulted in sales going up tenfold. And its website was so overloaded, a lot of customers weren't able to even complete their orders. What? Oh my gosh, dude. $98? What? By the way, how many of you guys have ever used a Flowbee? How many of you? I'd like to know. I think my mom had a Flowbee for half a second. My mom bought a Flowbee. I think she used it on my brother's hair. We all looked at it and said, "You ain't getting near my hair with that." Not even close. Keep it away. Now, maybe it was my mom. I mean, obviously, if George Clooney is actually cutting his own hair with a Flowbee all these years, are you serious? Now, people have to realize you would have to figure out the extent of this. You would have to be able to distinguish between haircuts that he's gotten because he's been on movies, right? Like my kids were cast for a documentary, right, about Father Srico over at the Acton Institute, his ideas about society and culture, and they played the part of kids back in the 60s, and they're all sitting there, and they're all 50s and 60s, and they're playing, what is it, stickball. But they had to have haircuts that were unique to that time. So the person who put everybody together, they went to a local barbershop, and they brought in a book. Apparently, they had some books about hairstyles from that era, and it was different, right? There are different things, and a lot of people who work on hair now, they're confused by it. They're kind of like, what? Like they're so accustomed to blending and other things that the idea of doing it this style is actually kind of hard. And so he does movies. So you have stylists, right? You can't just say, "Well, I'll cut my own hair, I'm good." Like, no, you are not. And if he said, "I got a Flowbee," don't worry. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the movie crew, the hairstylist on the set, and they're like, "Look, you need to come in. We need to get this thing for." Wait, what was he? Was he on? Inglourious Bastards or whatever. You know what movie was he on, man? Where he's kind of the Nazi era type stuff, and he's got this haircut and everything. And you sit there and you go, okay. You're like, you need to have a certain style. Or, "Oh, brother, where art thou?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, don't worry about it. I got a Flowbee back home." And you're like, "Okay, good. You got the Flowbee. You can manage that." No, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. You got to get your butt back here, son, and throw away the Flowbee. So if you go back and you look and you say, okay, in some situations, his hair looks mega dope. In other situations, it's kind of looking casual, messy a little. My guess is the casual messy is the Flowbee. That's my guess. And it would be when it's short. Yeah, see, right here, look, yes. See this? Now, that's still a nice haircut, but you can tell it doesn't actually take a lot to do that. And if he wasn't so attractive, it would not be so cool. I mean, I know a lot of people who have that haircut, and nobody's looking and going, "Dude, I want that one that guy has over there," and he's over by the vending machine. He's like, "What, me? What? Are you serious? I feel pretty good now." He's going to go home and tell his wife and say, "Hey, sweetheart, somebody used to, pointed over at me when I was over at the vending machine today buying the Rolos. And he said that he wanted a haircut like mine." And the wife is like, "I don't think so. I don't believe you." I don't believe you. Why don't you believe me? Because you use a Flowbee. Because you use a Flowbee. That's why. Oh, man. Unbelievable. In the comments, Karen, you are still around, Karen. Man, you're making my day now, Karen. You're making my day. You may turn out to be one of the few Karens that I'm like, you know what? A-okay. A-okay. Gold standard Karen. Maybe that's what the G is. Karen, gold standard. Yeah, it's not morning there. So you are obviously, you're somewhere. Where are you? You'd be on the other side. Let's see, Matt Davies. I agree with you. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Thank you. It's the truth, isn't it? Oh, Matt Davis. Yeah. Okay. So those are people talking in the comments. Okay. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Benjamin Wood said fiberglass is in Doritos. Dude, is that true? Is that actually true? Dude, this is not good. This is just simply not good, man. In fairness, I don't really eat too many Doritos. I do sometimes. I mix it up. I know it sounds crazy. I mix them up, man. I'll put like Doritos on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I know people in the audience are like, ugh, ugh. Right now. They're like, dude, did he just say that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. In fact, I'll go even further. And say peanut butter, strawberry jelly, honey, and Doritos. And Doritos. Or just most any chips. Most any chips. You know? Because it's the texture, man. It's that crunch. It's something about it. I don't know what it is. Man. But to me, it's good. You know. But I wouldn't want, for example, Cheetos on that. Like Cheetos with peanut butter and jelly, to me, that just doesn't sound right. And I mean, maybe it's the texture. Maybe it's that, you know, it's in the shape of a caveman club or something that, you know, kind of bothers me a little. I don't know. Let's see here. And people say it was originally christened Bib Label Lithiated Lemon Lime Soda. Is that serious, man? Talking about Coca-Cola? In its formulation, Grigg had included lithia, a naturally occurring substance found in minute quantities in bubbling waters fed by underground springs. Lithia is better known as lithium, a drug used to even out mood swings. Wow, dude. Wow. So people were like, you know, people were kind of chilled out a little bit, you know? Dang, son. They're like, you know what? Drink this Coca-Cola. It'll smooth you out. Or no, it wasn't Coca-Cola. What was it? What was it? It was the lemon lime soda that you were talking about. Oh, man. It's unbelievable. Let's see here. People defending Q-tips. They're not just used for ears, though. Yeah, but why does that justify calling them Q-tips, Brian? Why does that justify ear swabs, which is what they are, you know, because people would say, well, okay, so ear swabs can be used for many things, you know, kind of like what, hand wipes, you know, they can be used for other things too. They can be used for, you know, disinfecting, you know, a butt cheek when you've got to do some shot in there. And I'm not just pulling that one out of my rear end. That's actually something we got to deal with a couple times a week here in this house. You know, but those are hand wipes. I mean, nobody's going, hey, look, those disinfectant wipes, these are the hand wipes. They're only for hands. Nobody's doing that, man. Nobody's doing that, buddy. Sonny says, I like old Disney movies. And I think that my refrigerator is still open. It's beeping. It's beeping. I can hear it all the way down here. Sonny says, I like old Disney movies like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Lady and the Tramp, 101 Dalmatians, animated. Yes, I prefer it too. I prefer the stories as well. All of it. Rachel says, new animation is just weird anymore. It's like they're drinking the old Coke. Don't dog that, man. Don't dog that. We got to be honest, man. We got to say, look, what would you rather have in society? The all-natural Coca-Cola with a little bit of cocaine in there? Or would you rather have the slurm version of Coca-Cola with all of the ridiculous artificial flavors and ingredients? You got to say, boy, Franken, one of those is Frankenfood. The other one is maybe a mega fun time. That's what it is. Oh, man. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna move on. I think I got one or two more funny ones, and then we got to keep cranking. No, okay. So is this gonna be paid advertisement? You know, it's a commercial. It's a commercial for Floby for people who don't know what I'm talking about. For people who don't know, 40 seconds. Here we go. I'm gonna get out of here. Then we can just go ahead and watch it. Here we go. Hold on. Let me go ahead and zoom out. Let me get myself out of here. All right, here we go.
Before the Floby, only a skilled professional could produce a good layered haircut. Tens of thousands have been sold to satisfied customers. Why? Because it really works.
Proper suction is...
Yeah, right. Do you see that? You know, before this, only professionals could do haircuts. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, let's see what you got.
It's the key to getting great-looking haircuts with no cleanup.
Okay, look at the feathering on the side of that guy's head. Look at that. I mean, maybe if you are a stylist and you know how to use different, size guards and stuff like that, that you could say, well, I can do this and fade it up and everything else. But at that point, guess what? You are a stylist. You are a stylist. This is a fake news. This is some fake news commercials. Yeah, I'm going to put that down because I don't want to get a strike. Just imagine it's dun 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 dun. Dude, no.
Lets you give yourself and family perfect haircuts every time. Tens of thousands have been sold to satisfied customers. Why? Because
yeah, it's good every time. Does anybody believe that? Every time? Every time? Perfectly satisfied customers every time. And I'm like, no, dude. I have seen train wrecks. I have seen people who lament the fact that they ever decided to buy a Flowbee. I've seen them. I've seen them. Oh, okay, guys. This is the last video. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that this has naughty words in it. And so you need to just beware right now. This was actually shared, Emperor-elect Joseph Enders. And by the way, if you do not follow Joseph Enders, right, he's one of the guys over at Church Militant. He's over at Conservastud, right? So you can go ahead and follow him. Make sure to follow him on Facebook as well as on Twitter and anywhere else you can find him. Anywhere else you can find him. He does really cool work. He does. He's a funny guy. And he says this has to be fake. Please let it be fake. I don't know. Although truth be told, it's a TikTok. This chick is TikToking it up. She is TikToking it up, son. And we don't know. We just simply do not know if the people who are TikToking it up, like this girl, if she is throwing herself under the short bus for, popularity and money, fame and fortune. She doesn't understand that there are little brackets in front of fortune, and sometimes they include the word, the letters miss. Misfortune. Misfortune, fame, and misfortune. Ugh, it's infamy. This girl's going to live with this. I mean, maybe, well, even if she takes it off the internet, it's still on mine. She's like, oh, man. Oh, gosh, I removed it. I took it off, man. I didn't want that anymore. Didn't want that anymore. It's out of here, man. It's out of here. And I'm like, no, it's on my show. Please remove it. No, never. You're going to live with this forever. Forever. Because you were audacious enough, brash enough, brave enough to put yourself out there on TikTok. And you were going to say something so stupid. You got to live with it forever. You got to live with it forever. God forgives you. And so do we. But there are temporal consequences for, being kind of stupid. So that's just what's going to happen. We all know how it feels. So, okay, here we go. We're going to do this. And remember, after this, we are going to announce the answer to the question that has nobody has been able to get the answer to this. And if nobody gets it today, we're going to do the closest one. Okay? The best attempt. We're going to vote on it as a family. The best attempt at this wins. Okay? Because I know it's hard. But we're going to give the answer to this riddle. It's a riddle that has baffled people all throughout time. Some of the greatest minds, most sagacious thinkers of all time have been stumped by this question. So I'm not surprised. We do have very intelligent people. But look, it's a tough thing. So here's the question of the day. Okay? And if you've got the answer, make sure to email it or send it. I don't care if you send it on Facebook. I don't care where you do it, but don't do it in the comment sections because they're all over. I won't, we're not going to play a game. Don't do it in the comment sections. Okay, you got to reach out to us off the show. Whether Facebook, I don't care where you do it, Twitter, no matter where it is, okay? Make sure to reach out to us in Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com, okay? Or at Jeremiah.Bannister on Facebook. Those are my messenger, stuff like that. Doesn't matter. Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. Here is the question. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? Again, what is it when you get? What do you get when you mix a mouse with Count Dracula? That was my best accent, by the way. Dracula. Yeah, what do you get? What do you get? And we're gonna let this play. It's a minute long, and then after that, we are going to make the announcement of the answer. And as soon as that's done, we're going to be getting right to the Wolfpack song because we got a lot of serious news to talk about. But we're halfway through the show, and so here we go. We're going to talk about this right here. I'll let her be on the screen by herself. Here we go.
Hey, so you know what I don't fucking understand? This is what I don't understand. See this? See this? See that? This. This is worth $50? This is worth $5? This is the exact same piece of fucking plastic. This is the same thing. We made up these arbitrary numbers. And then we said, we can't print more or else it'll be worthless. How about just don't let it be worthless?
Oh.
How about just don't tell anybody? Or just like, don't let it happen. We literally made...
Don't let it happen. And I'm sorry for his swear words. You got to put soap in your mouth. This chick has got to put some soap in her mouth. Who are her parents? They need to go over there. And do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of the fake news that the media puts out on constant replay every single year around this time, where supposedly a little boy named Ralphie ends up getting soap poisoning and is blind. Don't believe it. It is fake news. It's not real. He never got soap blindness, and neither will she. So Mama, Papa Bear, you need to bust in that room, kick through that door, shove soap in that mouth, and put an economics manual right in her hands and say, read this before you open your mouth again. Don't tell anybody. People would see it, and it doesn't matter. It matters how many of those bills are in circulation. I understand up to a point. I was thinking, well, I kind of understand, the idea, like, okay, printed money. I'm a critic of that. I'm a critic of we're just printing money left and right. But she takes it and says, oh, we just print and make up this money anyway. So why don't we just simply call it whatever and make as much as we want, and everybody's a millionaire. Yay! Because if everybody's a millionaire, nobody's a millionaire. Go ask the people over in a lot of these African countries where our pennies can buy, some of the richest houses and mansions in that country. Go ask them and say, why do you have that $1 bazillion bill? What's up with that? I could buy the whole country with that. They're like, no, you got to get a couple of these to buy a candy bar. And you're like, what? Are you serious? Supply and demand is a real thing, man. Supply and demand is a real thing. If everybody has diamonds, all of a sudden, guess what? Those diamonds are kind of, like the plastic pirate diamonds that you get when you go to the medieval festival. And one of the pirates comes up and says, "Arr, would you like a little bit of the booty?" And you're like, "Yes, I would love the booty." And so they end up giving you some little plastic diamonds, some plastic gold coins, and nobody's going, ding dog, look, they made a bunch of plastic gold coins. And if everybody's got them and you're walking around, you're like, dude, look what I got. And every single person's like, I got the same thing. It's just not that unique anymore. Oh, I would like to buy something very important with these things that everybody's got tons of. She doesn't understand, man. I'm not even going to go any further. Well, we may as well. It's about 20 seconds.
This up. This is a construct we made up. Just don't let it inflate. Just don't. Like, people, I get.
Don't do it. Don't you dare inflate. Inflation, you stop right now. Inflation, deflation, stop. Don't. We got to control it. We got to control it. Look at her eyes, man. I think there's seriousness in those eyes. I think this lady is very serious. Oh.
I get inflate, but I don't. Like, just don't let it. Fuck. You let this happen. You let this happen. How about you just let everything else happen too? Why don't you just let stuff not inflate? Like, just deflate it.
Wow. Wow. It's okay. I don't know if that is, in fact, real. I don't know for sure if it is real. Okay. Not entirely sure. Let's see. Unbelievable. Okay, now we are on to the answer for the day, and we've gone over. But I'm not going to spend a bazillion hours talking about everything in the world about politics today. In fact, I just don't want to. I don't want to. We talk about it all the time. Everybody's always talking about it. We're completely politicized. And so I am going to talk about stuff to do with politics and culture. But we're also just going to talk. We're going to talk about different things too. Maybe even a little bit about parenting, man. In fact, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about parenting. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Let's see here. So here's the answer. Here's the answer. This is the beginning of Paleo Cheese, an episode of Paleo Cheese recently. Okay. And so we are going to go ahead. Let me see if I can just zoom it up to this level. There we go. Okay. So here we go. So the answer is going to be within this. The answer is going to be given to the question. And once again, last time, what do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? If you've got the answer, you have to share it with me off of the live show. So not in the comments. Won't play that game. Not in the comments. You have to reach out to us outside of this. Okay. Because we exist outside of this. And so I want to connect with you, right? And we're not going to spam you. We're not going to share your information. It is for people to even realize, like, because a lot of people, they come on in and that's just the end of it and say, look, connect with us. We're real people. We'd love to connect with you. And we're going to connect anyway because we have to give you a book. And I don't want to have to chase you down with your name on YouTube. Won't do it. Won't do it. There's, you know how many, for example, there's a guy in here, Matt Davis. Imagine if Matt Davis ends up giving that answer. You know how many Matt Davises there are? I'd be like, I don't know who you are, dude. I don't know. So we're not playing that game. Okay. Not playing the game. You got to email us, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, jeremiah.bannister. Paleocrat's on there too. You can send a message through there. No matter where, you got to do it on the outside. But here is the answer. This is taken from the introduction of an episode probably about a month ago. Maybe about a month ago. So it's already been out there. Here it goes. Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hammond.
Hammond who?
Ham and cheese.
Oh, okay.
Dude, hey, how about this one? What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula?
I don't know, but I think I've heard this one before.
Count Mousula.
That's so bad.
So you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You got to be ashamed of yourselves. Everybody's sitting there pulling the Jeopardy thing, wondering, oh, man, I don't know. This is a real trick question. No, it's not, dude. The answer to that, what do you get when you mix a mouse with Count Dracula, is Count Mousula. That's what it is. Oh, my gosh, man. The only joke. Oh, okay, it's bad. I told you I've been telling the joke since I was in school, man. I think it was like 4th grade. I think I've tried finding this book, and I think it was like 101 mouse jokes or something like that. It was like 101 mouse jokes, or it was 101 jokes you tell your family when you're on vacation. I don't remember which one it was, but I think I had versions of both, and I don't know if that's the exact title or what. And so I've tried looking it up. I've even tried looking up Count Mousula, and I've seen some weird junk. I've seen some weird stuff from Count Mousula, but I haven't been able to find that joke book that has Count Mousula, because it actually has a picture. It's a rare photo of the actual Count Mousula. Oh, man. So, yes, if you've got that answer or the closest approximation to it, and what time is it? 11:30. We'll call it at 11:33. 11:30. Yeah, we'll call it 11:33. That if you had sent that message prior to 11:33 and you got it right, you win. If you got it close and nobody else got it right, then the family is going to judge and decide between different people, and you will win a book from the Paleocrat Diaries library, the very large and beautiful and well-stored library. Well-shelved, it is. It's very good. We'll share a book with you, as well as a letter from the family on the inside cover, and maybe even some pieces of art and things like that, maybe a prayer card inside of that. So it's going to be a whole bunch of fun. All right, on to the second hour, guys. Before we do that, let's go ahead and I'm going to cover some of these comments real quick. Let me get over here. Let me get over here. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, man, a whole bunch of this. A whole bunch of these. What the heck? You know, I thought that I was in... I thought that I had down below, you know, I wish, well, okay, you know what I could do? We're going to do this. I have to remember to turn it off, though. Okay? Because if I end up putting on the comments on the circle here, And they end up doing it. Well, I'm not going to do it, not going to do it, not going to do it. So, okay, let's see here. You know, people who say, okay, yeah, I guess people in the comments are talking about whether or not the Pope is even Catholic. Deceiving and evil, I think. You know, it's one of these things. I don't like to get into that. Don't like to play that game. I don't have a magic crystal ball. I'm not going to pretend. I think it can be a little bit of a lowbrow thing. You know, kind of armchair Pope sort of thing. You know, where some folks, you know, and I'm not meaning to dog anybody or target anybody, but just simply say, you know, we get into that game where we're sitting there and we're like, no, well, this guy's not this or this guy's not that. And we're talking about the hierarchy. Number one, I don't think we're very familiar with the proper way that Catholic people are supposed to even speak of others, much less of the hierarchy. Leo XIII talks about it in an encyclical on Christian citizenship. You've also got, of course, the conversations about rash judgment and vain talk by St. Francis de Sales. And I think that sometimes, and social media is prone to this, so are the common folks. We all are, right? We're all prone to kind of, you know, talking some jive. It's what we do. It's what we do. And look, it's a live radio show. It's a live talk show. I mean, that's what we're watching right now. So, you know, it's kind of a little bit of that anyway. It's the way it goes. You know, but we should beware. We should be cautious about that. We should be a little bit guarded about that. You know, and not to be so presumptuous or to believe. I mean, people could say, well, have you ever talked to the person? You know, are you a confessor to the person? You know, what is it exactly that is the root of your judgment? If they say, well, no, it's the theological stuff, and you say, well, are you like a canon lawyer? Are you trained in theology? Where did you go to seminary? Like, what's going on here? Because I'm saying that not to judge anybody else, but to say I had to ask those questions of myself. I said that on Meaning of Catholic, because Meaning of Catholic has a lot of guys that their primary emphasis is theology. Some of them went to school for that. They bring on people who do study canon law, okay? They do bring people on who have those opinions, who are authoritative in that regard. And, you know, but I sit there and I say, that's good for you, but not necessarily for me. That's why I said, look, I would rather simply be the in-resident politico for you guys. I'd like to be the, you know, and that's what I am. Right, I'm the resident political analyst for Meaning of Catholic, right? And I'm not. Why haven't I been on there more, man? Why haven't I been on there more? We're gonna have to beat down the door, man. Because there was people in the comment section yesterday saying, "Dude, I really miss you on that show. I really miss you over there." And you know, here's the truth. I got to say this. I'll throw myself under the bus. Part of that is my fault because here's the thing, guys. I'll let you in on a secret. I've been allowed. He's told me for a while now that if I wanted to host a live show on Meaning of Catholic on that YouTube channel without him, just me, that I'd be allowed to do it. I just haven't done it. Yeah. Let's see. I think art style has to fit the storyline, but yes, I agree. Just like so much of the music sounding the same, much of the animation is too. I agree with that. And yeah, I think that's a good point, by the way, about art and story. Talking about art for older Disney movies, vintage Disney art, and modern Disney art, just art in general. You go and you watch, you know, any of these cartoons. So many of them, they just start to look the same. They start to look the same. They're carbon copy stuff, and it's garbage, man. I can't stand it. And that's why I like ones that stand out in a way that, you know. Even The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, for example. I don't even know if that show is even on anymore. I don't think it is. But the art of that was it stood out. It stood out. Let's see. Tom says, what's this clown on about? Were you talking about me? How did I get here? Yeah, he's kind of a motor mouth. It's hilarious. Tom Foreign, are you talking about me? I'm assuming that you are, right? And yes, we do clown around, by the way. And how did you get here? You seem like you're a little bit lost, I guess. I don't know. How did you get here? What was the path you took? I don't know that. You know, it's kind of clownish to you know, to ask somebody in my position to say, how did I get here? I don't know. I don't know, dude. You give me the answer. And then you say he's kind of a motor mouth. Dude, it is a talk show. It's a talk show, you weirdo. Man, this guy talks a lot on a talk show. Imagine that. Hey, can you imagine, by the way, guys? What if it was like this? What if you guys tune in? How many of you would tune in if you sit here and you tune in and it's like this? I couldn't do it any longer. Sitting there saying, give me a break. Thanks for tuning in. I'd hate to be a motor mouth. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break, homie. Why don't you, maybe you got a show like that. I don't know. I've never heard of it. I wouldn't be, unsurprisingly, Tom, I've never heard of your silent show that doesn't talk and fill the space. People want to hear funny stories, man. And you know what? I got to say this. We do funny stories here, and we talk about that for the first hour because the truth is, you know, people a lot of times they go to work, right? They go to work, and the people there at work are listening to the morning shows on AM/FM radio. And a lot of those morning shows on AM/FM radio, they enjoy the fun parts of it, but sometimes it can get really crude. And it can get really, really lewd, right? The kind of nasty stuff that just, you know, so a lot of pee-pee jokes and stuff like that. And, you know, or just irreverent, like completely irreverent. And there's no connection with faith at all. And I sit there and say, you know, and then there's the opposite side of that where you've got some comedian, and Christian comedians have actually gotten better. And I'm not a comedian, right? I'm a funny guy. I enjoy putting myself out there, playing the part of the clown, in fact, to have a really good time. Be the Raggedy Andy doll a little bit. To be the wild person. Because so much of, you know, in the past, it was like, you know, it was the kind of Christian comedy and humor that was just like, badumps. It was just crap. It wasn't any good. And people were like, look, you know, I like the idea that it's kind of faith-based more. But it's so tame, and it's not nothing to do with like popular culture and things that we enjoy to see and things we like to make fun of. And so that's what we do. It's unbelievable. Karen, you're back. You're back again. Karen, you keep it coming. Keep it coming, woman. He probably talking about George Clooney. He probably has shares in the company, or his friends do. I've wondered that. It's a real thing. And yes, CF, George Clooney uses a Flowbee. It's totally true. Totally true. Cherie says, I buzz cut my husband's hair because, well, Jeremiah, you know why. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you buzz cut it. It's no longer that big thing, is it? Yeah, no longer that big thing. You know, big old dude walking around looking like a Viking. Looking like a Viking. People would be like, he's a little Nordic. Is he, you know, Aryan? No. No, he looks good with a bald head and a long, manly beard. How prejudiced is that, by the way? That's like the people who get mad at me and they see that picture of me where I'm looking very strong. It's a very, very good political picture. I'm looking strong, staring off into the distance, you know, at the dynasty that's about to happen, that kind of thing. And the lineage, man, the family that's going to advance in the future with power and glory. And I'm looking ahead and I've got nothing but my mustache. And my mustache, because of the coloring of the picture, people are like, dude, you kind of look like, you know, a certain person that begins with an H and ends with a Hitler. And I'm like, dude, it's so rude because if you look closely, you can see I've got like orange. It's like I'm like a calico. So I've got brown, I've got gray, I've got orange in the middle, and then I've got this really bright blonde that comes down. And it looks cool, man, when it's thicker and stuff like that because it stands out from the rest. But if you shave from here down and you only have the mustache and you take a picture that's in sepia tone or black and white or whatever, and you do that, the middle orange part is, you know, more prominent. And people are like, dude, you should never, ever share that picture again. I'm like, why are you judging my stash, dude? Why are you judging the stash? Why are you judging my boy's hair? Or lack thereof. Let's see. Let's see here. Where's the off button? Yeah, you're obviously the clown, champ. The off button This guy's, where's the off button on YouTube? There is no off button. There is no off button. There are many ways to leave a page that you don't like. This guy's Boomer Central. He's Boomer Central, man. Bethany says the new pickle Doritos are bomb. You know, I would like to try the pickle Doritos. Cherie says, you need help, Jeremiah. That's just gross. Oh, talking about chips inside of peanut butter and jelly? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Let's see here. Bethany says, and we have another disagreement. You can keep your sandwich and your cranberry sauce. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, you don't understand food, apparently, Bethany. Okay, you don't understand food. Number one, you still don't buy into the idea that the best cranberry sauce is the authentic, homemade, just like grandma made cranberry sauce that comes, you know, like gel out of a can and falls on your plate, just like grandma made it. And now you don't like the idea of putting chips inside peanut butter and jelly and honey sandwiches. Yeah, okay, 7-Up was the drink that had the lithium in it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you. Let's see here. One person says, in the 80s, I was a camp counselor. I was out in the middle of the lake on cabin pontoon boat. A child put potato chips in her PB&J. Yikes. She started to choke and gasp for breath. In the middle of the lake, I had to Heimlich her. Knew she would puke it up. You knew she would puke it up. What kind of chips was it? Not all chips are equal. Not all chips are equal. We don't believe in equalitarianism when it comes to chips. That is a conspiracy, by the way. Yeah. Some people say working 9 to 8 today, so I definitely need the laughs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Yeah, dude. By the way, Tom, Grumpy Tom. Hey, Grumpy Tom, sitting there. Okay, let's lose this motor mouth. What are you going to do, man? Where are you going to go? What you going to watch? What you going to watch? Tell us what you watch, bro. Money Down says you fit a certain demo. You are Boomer Central. You are Boomer Central. And look, I don't want to bust the chops of too many boomers. I like some boomer humor. You know? I like Red Fox, dude. I like Red Fox. I like Sanford and Sons. I like myself some, I like myself some Three Stooges, stuff like that. Three's a Company, ain't bad. Well, maybe Newhart. I like, what would be another one? I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy. In fact, she's one of my favorite. That kind of thing. So I like some boomer humor. You know, but I'd be interested to see, like, what you're into, man. I'd like to see what you're into. All right. We're going to get down to some pretty serious stuff here. I'm going to some serious stuff. Okay, before we do that, you have to get your stuff ready, guys. You have to get your stuff ready. Let's see your transition over there. And circle, get the wolf packs on. All right, here we go. You got to get your coffee ready because we're going to be cranking it out. I'm sorry that we're going a little bit longer. I'll try to trim it down. Because I really, today I just wanted to just have fun. Sue me. Sue me, guys. I just wanted to have fun. I just want to have fun because, I don't want to get burned out with this stuff. I'm involved with politics all the time. And I enjoy it, man, but it's not my life. And I actually think it's dangerous for us to make it so that all of life is just a big political thing. And that everything that we talk about is in some way, it's just politically motivated. And so I don't want to play that game. And by the way, just so that everybody knows, we worked on a room yesterday, and we're considering moving the internet. And if we don't move the internet, because it glitches, it's where we bought a new connector. We've placed it in different spots around this room down here. It says that it's in a perfect place, so it's got to just be simply the internet quality from the area all around. Right? And I don't know if my kids are on internet right now, but I mean we're down now to like 700 kilobytes per second. Now we're at 0. So it's going to stop. It's going to stop. And then it goes back up. So it's really, really just all over the map. It's all over the map. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep marching forward. We're going to keep marching forward. And eventually we'll get to the place where we'll be able to simply have, whether it's a Ethernet cable or whatever, and that way there's no glitches. So I apologize right now for that. Make sure before we move on to the Wolfpack song, make sure not only that you get that glass of coffee or tea or Coca-Cola with the cocaine in it or the 7-Up with the lithium in it. Okay. Don't matter. It does not matter. Okay. You get that. It doesn't matter if it's water. If it's water, it's good. Okay. Because we're going to be raising it high. And we're going to raise it high because we are the Johnny Q's and Sally Sue's of flyover country. We are Main Street America. In fact, Main Street America all over the world is what we are. Right? Because we have people listening from all different countries, and we're grateful for every single one of them. And we resolve, as a wolf pack, every single day, we resolve that no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, and it gets hard, doesn't it, guys? It gets hard. Going to work, having to deal with a stinking employees or some boss supervisor coming up and heckling you about, is it a mask? Why aren't you wearing your mask all the time? Or you go in somewhere and you got people busting your chops or whatever. And they're not being nice to you, and your manager, and you're giving it your best. Maybe you're not getting the recognition that you believe that you deserve, right? That you believe that, in fact, not just that you've deserved, but that you've earned over time. And yet, you resolve that you don't do this in order to please the eyes of men, but you do this because you work as a worker unto the Lord. And you rejoice every single day, no matter how hard it is, no matter how a teacher might make things difficult for you and your family, or a parent might make things difficult for a teacher, or an employee, or somebody who comes and purchases, anything that you have, any of your goods and services, and you go over and you do it and they don't like it and they say something terrible, that you sit there and you roll with those punches. You resolve to say, I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm not going to let that ruin me. Not going to do it. Because we resolve deep inside of our hearts every single day that we are going to do these 3 things. Never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. We're going to remember that we're going to die, and when we do, it doesn't matter. We will be no different in that grave. We will be no different in that grave with the remains that are there than the kings and princes, managers and supervisors, New World Order elitists, Hollywood celebrities. Doesn't matter. We're all going to the grave. And when we stand before the judgment seat, that's not going to matter. It's not going to be like, well, but look, I'm a Hollywood celebrity. It's not going to matter. In fact, it's going to make it worse. It's going to mean that the bar is even higher because much was given to them. Much is going to be expected of them. And so we give it everything we've got. We do it for ourselves, to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. We do it for our families, as an example to them, to create something big for them, to work little by little every single day, to make something big, to make something that lasts, to be generous and charitable to other people, to show them the works of God through our lives, through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions. And we do it every day, beginning with raising our glass high and howling at the sun. So here we go. I want to see those cups raised high. Yeah. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. You inspire me. You encourage me to be the best that I can be, and I hope that I can do that for you. So together, here we go. Straight to the dome. Yeah. Come on, son. Come on, kid. Look at that dancer go. Come on. Let's rock this album. Come on. Today is the day that the Lord has made. We are going to rejoice. And we're going to be glad. I love you, God. Yeah. That's my boy. Those are my buddies. Those are my buddies. And if you've got yourself a video or a picture of your dancing along and singing along and having a ton of fun, okay, if you've got a video of that, if you have a picture of that, make sure to send it to us. All of those were, except for the ones taken here in the house, the other ones were taken from people who watch the show who raise their glass high every single day and howl at the sun. It's what they do. It's what they do, and they love it, by the way. It was great. You know, somebody sent me a message yesterday, and they were saying, you know, how much they love the show, but that their favorite part is seeing the little kids dancing. And I thought, you know, that's mine too. It's mine too. And I'm really grateful for all of that. Okay, here we go. So, okay, we're not going to get into this too much, but investigators are going to tell the unvarnished story of Kalamazoo police responses to the Proud Boys rally and other protests. We talked about this a while back, and we went through, because journalists were really rankled. They were really rankled by this, because they were expecting, you know, well, the Proud Boys, they show up, and it's going to be real bad, and the Proud Boys are going to get in trouble because they're naughty, and that's what they thought, and they were writing it and framing it that way. This is a hate group. The Anti-Defamation League that hates the New Testament, by the way. They called The Passion of the Christ an anti-Semitic movie, by the way. That group calls this a hate group. Oh, whoop-de-freaking do. Who cares, by the way? Who cares what they say? I don't, you know, they're like, no, they're a hate group. Well, why is that? Why is that? Who cares what the ADL thinks? Who cares what Southern Poverty Law Center says? But that's what people were saying. Oh, every article, man. Every article. Even New York Post. Even New York Post. And they were talking about it. So then days go by. And everybody's like, oh, man, the Proud Boys, they were wicked evil, wicked bad. They did a whole bunch of heinous junk. And then lo and behold, guess what happens? The police come out. And the police say, look, we're going to do something. The press was there. Representatives, journalists from all different places were there. And they're listening in on this conference call, and they're doing a video call, and they're going through video by video by video by video by video of instances that were deemed controversial. And they were doing it in slow motion, frame by frame by frame. And each and every time, each and every one of these frames, you have counter-protesters instigating the problem. You have counter-protesters throwing objects, projectiles. You have counter-protesters. You have the BLM and Antifa crowd coming up and punching people who then turn around and pepper spray them in the face. Or come up with them with a club and club them in the back of the head. And then a Proud Boy comes up and sprays that person and others in the face because there's a guy on the ground with blood all over the place. Or a person who was homeless, claimed to be homeless, who in fact was not homeless. One after another of these claims. Each and every one. Just boom, 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 down the line. And come to find out, when the media said, oh, the Proud Boys, it got violent. So they start with the hate. Oh, these people are hate mongers. These people are wicked evil. And then the very next thing, it turned violent. And then the very next thing, 8 people got arrested. And then the very next thing, there was a club, a club that was confiscated by police. So it sounds, the nut graph, the framing of the nut graph is that, well, the Proud Boys were wicked bad and caused violence and had clubs and ended up getting 8 people arrested. Until, of course, the police show up and talk about it. And then when the police show up to talk about it, guess what? 0 Proud Boys arrested. The club did not belong to the Proud Boys. You can actually watch a video of it. You can watch a video of it. And in each and every instant, each and every one, where they're analyzing and saying, well, look at the use of pepper spray. And you say, yes, let's see this. Well, okay, so a person comes up, punches somebody, right? Sucker punches them, and that person turns around and pepper sprays the person. Guess what? That's what it's for. Or a person comes up with a club, slams a black dude, by the way, a black Proud Boy in the head, wham, in the back of the head, dude's on the ground, blood, people all around, individual comes up and sprays that pepper spray in order to get him away. Journalists were baffled. Isn't that violence? No, it's not. It's called self-defense. It's called self-defense, you stinking weirdos. What are you guys, man? Think of how dumb you gotta be, by the way. Think of how stupid. Think of how stupid you gotta be to be a journalist, by the way. There should be a real warning. To be a journalist. And to sit there and be like, oh, well, they brought pepper spray. Isn't that like provoking violence? What? What are you smoking? No, you are allowed to have that. Isn't it violence if, they use pepper spray on people, come up and punch them from behind? Isn't that somebody's right to come up and punch you without getting pepper sprayed in the face? No. No, it's not. That is not their right. You need to go back to kindergarten. You obviously did not learn very much in school. You were watching too much Sid the Science Kid and Sesame Street. You should read some books. So you've got this group coming in. The OIR group was selected by the city to investigate police responses in 2020 to a Proud Boys visit that turned violent. So they're going to go, and it says Genico outlined the group's plans for the investigation during the Kalamazoo City Commission on December 7th. The scope of the work includes reviewing the police department's handling of the events that transpired between May 30th and June 2nd, and the incidents surrounding the Proud Boys' visit to Kalamazoo on August 15th. That's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. So, okay, so events that transpired between May 30th and June 2nd. So they're priming the pump here, right? They're trying to set the frame, set the narrative, and be like, oh, and then the Proud Boys show up, and they're like, oh, it was against George Floyd. And it's like, by the way, wouldn't you be allowed to be against George Floyd? Don't you even have the right, by the way, if that, it wasn't that, by the way, that wasn't what the rally was about. That wasn't what the march was about at all. And yet people can sit there and say, well, you're against George Floyd. So what? You worship George Floyd. So what, do we all have to do that? Do we all have to sit there and believe he's some patron saint? Do we have to believe that he didn't put himself in a place that was particularly bad by ingesting ridiculous amounts of drugs and being non-compliant with, by the way, a reasonable order? Get out of the car. Get in the car. That's totally reasonable, by the way. It's reasonable, orderly, and that's the way it's done. And the other people in the car, they didn't have any problem with it. In fact, they were the other people in the car. Those are the ones that were up against the wall, and they're saying, look, man, this guy's got a lot of problems. So they're allowed to say that. That's ridiculous. They're going to performing a comparative analysis of the two events through an equity lens. Through an equity lens. Do you guys get this? By the way, and there's a difference between equality and equity, by the way. This is all cult talk. This is cult talk. They need to balance some scales. You need to balance some scales. These people over here, they've been privileged. Oh yeah, Proud Boys are really privileged. Oh yeah, really privileged. Look at all the stuff about them on social media. Oh yeah, they're really, look at the way their jobs treat them. Yeah, definitely. Look at the way the President Trump, bless his heart, the President Trump threw him under the bus. Claimed he didn't even know about him. Look at the way the conservative news outlets talk about him. I had a guy who was he's a radio personality, right? He's got a radio show. It's on in numerous cities every single day. He's in there and he's talking about it. I'm talking to him on the phone behind the scenes, right? I'm giving him different information about the Kalamazoo event, by the way. And he asked me, he's like, well, why are the guys, why are they all being accused of being Nazis? And I'm like, by who? Well, the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I'm like, bro, number one, you're a MAGA guy. They think the exact same thing of you. Well, yeah, I get it. No, you don't, dude. You wouldn't ask me that freaking question. They think the same thing of your MAGA hat. They think the same thing of Trump's populist nationalism, his American economic nationalism, his ideas about the border. Who do you think they're accusing him of dog whistling to? To you. So why are you acting like you're not that? It's just, it blows my mind. And to bring up the idea saying, look, they treat this as if it's like a white supremacist group, and you go, dude, the international chairman is Afro-Cuban. There are tons of people, Jewish people, black people, Asian people, all sorts of people, red and yellow, black and white. all sorts of people. And you bring that up, and you know what? I get it. You know, but I just don't understand. Can you assure me? I'm thinking, dude, be honest. Imagine if someone said, well, the international chair of the KKK is Afro-Cuban. You would laugh at me, man. You'd laugh at me. You'd be like, dude, isn't that a ripoff of the Chappelle Show? I'd say, yes, because it's a joke. You right now are the joke. And they're going to look into the use of non-lethal munitions on apparently Black Lives Matter protests. So we'll keep you guys up to date about that. Now, one of the reasons why we're not going to talk so much about politics today is this, okay? And this is a real thing, guys. I'm, you know, it's a bummer. This is true. This is over at Conservative Treehouse. Google and YouTube announced they will block content that challenges the 2020 election. I had to have a real serious conversation with my wife, as well as just internally, right? My kind of just having a conversation with myself, right? My better angels. And sitting there saying, what are you going to do, Jeremiah? Because turns out, if you, beginning right now, by the way, beginning yesterday, that if you use certain phrases regarding the extent of shenanigans having to do with the election in 2020, if you are saying that it's pervasive, and if you are saying also that Donald Trump would have been victorious were it not for that, if that is the claim that you're making, then your video is going to be removed. Full stop. Worse than that, beginning on, what is it, January 20th, January 21st, they are going to remove completely, if you make videos that continue to talk about that, even after that date, then your entire channel will be removed. So it won't just be a video. And by the way, no strikes. No strikes. Just all the way. Rip it up and out. It's done. You're gone. Everything you've ever posted, everything you've ever done. And I had to think about that. And be like, you know, what am I going to do? How can you talk about it? Because right now, this exact topic, the exact topic is in the Supreme Court. It's going to the Supreme Court. You're having states come and talk about it. What is it, 18 different states joining in a lawsuit? Tim Pool, he wrote this. YouTube has clarified to me, 1, you can still say that Trump actually won the election. 2, you can still claim that the election was taken from him, but you must meet 2 conditions for a video to be removed. You must claim that the vastness of the shenanigans, and you need to say that it is the reason why our boy, our man, the MAGA man, the great champion, why he lost. That's why. You can still say there is evidence of the vastness of the shenanigans. You can still say that Trump actually won. You cannot combine the two. Think about it. Think about the kind of position that puts me in. Look at what it's done to our Right Side Broadcast Network. What if you're a news organization covering an event where people are saying these things? It gets tricky. They had a video, for example, that was removed and got a community guideline strike because we were covering an event and Alex Jones said something about the vaccine. Even though we didn't say it, we paid the price for simply reporting what was happening on the ground. Mark Dice, this is important. I'm bringing these things up because, this is important even for not only this show but for the channel. I've been talking about this leading way up. We've been showing a huge number of stories, right? Leaks, witnesses, testimonies, all of these things, audio, video, surveillance, all this stuff. We've shown it to make that case in a journalistic way. Okay, because I went to school for journalism. I have done investigative journalism throughout my life. I've been a publisher. I've been a contributing editor. I happen to prefer this particular medium for doing a show. But that's what I am. So I'm not just some rando. And randos can do great news, by the way. In fact, we should talk about what exactly is news. But like all of their enforcement, it'll be arbitrary, as Mark Dice. And it depends on the channel. Small and moderate-sized channels are totally screwed. Tim is almost in the safe zone. They'll give him a slap on the wrist every once in a while, but it'll probably be okay. The amazing thing is, guys, one of the reasons why the small and moderate-sized channels are totally screwed is because you can see this. You can see it in the way that it's already been enforced already with the channels that they've taken down. And YouTube was bragging about the idea that most of the videos that they've removed, they've been able to remove them before they even got to 100 views. They do take down big ones too. They took down Steve Bannon's episode yesterday. But Amy Meck brings up a good point. She said, at least you're still allowed on YouTube. Most of us have been banned. Come to Rumble. They do not censor us. I need to learn more about Rumble. But it makes it hard to talk about things like this. Michigan Witness, a van full of ballots showed up at 3:30 a.m. after deadline, approximately 50,000. Had Janice Winfrey's name on it. It makes it hard, isn't it? And the thing is, you know, we could go through the timeline. I'm nervous just to even mention this. Am I gonna go back and say, look, I worked my tail off for 3 hours, and all of a sudden you go and your channel's out? What do? That's why I tell people, look, if you love this show, and I'm being dead serious about this, if you love this show and you haven't subscribed over at paleocratdiaries.com, it's totally free. You're gonna get the emails. We may end up having to do, if something happens to this channel, I want you to know how you can still connect with us. That's a Wolfpack thing. Plus, it's dope. You know, you're hooking a brother up. I mean, you know, it's a good thing. Wouldn't be so afraid to talk about it. So instead, we're gonna go a little bit over, because we're at the 2 hour mark right now. We might go 2.5. We're not going 3 today, though, guys. So I got to keep cranking on here. I'm gonna play a little bit of this for a little bit, because look, we're not just up against things to do with the election. We're not just up against that. We're not just up against partisan politics. We're not just up against, you know, well, we are up against the Great Reset. The Great Reset is a big, all-encompassing sort of thing. Okay, it's an all-encompassing sort of thing. But we're in a world where you know, people aren't even allowed to say what's obviously true. We're not even allowed to talk about those things. They're verboten. People will tell you to be quiet. People will tell you, don't talk about that. Shut your mouth. And if you don't, you're gone. But see, I made a commitment early on. I did. I told you guys early on, I said, I am going to speak my mind. I am going to talk about those things that mean a lot to me. And in fact, I'm kind of a little bit grateful in a way that this is going on. We can still talk about it. And I would have a case, journalistically, I would have a case to say, we don't just throw out a bunch of rumors about crap. And we're not sitting there. We're saying these are things that need to be investigated. Here's the quantitative analysis. Here's the problem. It doesn't assure that I would win. But it means that I would have a case to make. And I'm part of a network that would have a case to make. But I'm not going to sit there and do the oh man, cooling effect. Or not cooling effect, chilling effect. I'm not going to do that. Where you're told certain things you can't talk about, so all of a sudden you get so afraid that you don't talk about it at all. You don't keep people in the loop at all. And I told my buddy Chad, man. I said, look, dude. I said, in some ways, maybe it'd be a blessing. Maybe it'd be a blessing. If I woke up and I got on YouTube and it said this channel is no longer active. Every single video I've ever made, every single thing I've ever done. And I was one of the early people with YouTube, by the way. I was one of the early people on YouTube making videos. I'd be interested to see people who are posting videos from within radio stations back when I was doing that, and find out how many other places had figured that out. That you can bring in a camera to your radio station record it, because this is before streaming. To record your radio show, go on out and be like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and, we're going to record it and then get home and we're going to upload it to YouTube. Because that's what I was doing. So I've been on it for a long time, but if all of it was gone, if everything was gone, there'd be part of me that would be hurt, part of me that would be mad. But I thought about it, I said, what if somebody isn't it like being in a relationship that's abusive? Isn't it like that? Where the person is just a raging liar, a person is a complete control freak, that they don't care about ruining you, they don't care about embarrassing you, they don't care about lying about you. And you just keep on going back and keep on going back because you feel like you need them. And maybe because you've committed to it for so long, there is a degree by which you do, because if you're not there anymore, it's going to take a hit. You're going to get a hit by that. It's going to not be good. I would lose thousands of people right out of the gate. Thousands. My hope is that those people, if they care, and not all of the thousands. Some people tune in and leave. Some people like Tom. Weirdos with bad taste in shows. They sit there, they're not going to follow. But the people who do, my hope is that they've subscribed to other channels with Holy Faith Media, for example. And that they've subscribed, they follow me on different platforms. Even if I just use them mainly as an info dump. That they find me and say, where's Paleocrat? I need to find him. Because there are a lot of people that will hear this news and they are going to go completely silent. Not me. Not me. And if that means a breakup, if that means that the abusive, tyrannical, authoritarian, totalitarian channel known as YouTube, platform known as YouTube, doesn't want me around anymore, then F them. I mean it. F them. F them. Work with other people. Find out different ways. And if they think that would make somebody give up, man, they don't know who they're dealing with. They think, well, it's easy because small fries. It's easy because small fish. It's easy because these aren't big wigs. We can get rid of them, no problem. You know what? That's perfectly fine. It means I didn't fall very far. And it gives me all the more reason to keep on going and to come after you. But these are things we got to think about. And I've said it before. I've said we got to get original. We have to actually go back. We need to think of pre-YouTube mechanisms. Not just trying to find another platform. That would be good, and it's essential. I mean, we won't be able to do the show if we didn't have, like, for example, Twitch or DLive and things like that. If it was just YouTube, right? But even if all of them, let's say that all of them end up, each and every one of these major platforms says, you know what? Stuff like this, you're gone. Stuff like that, you're gone. It's hate. You're gone. Even if that was the case, what do you do? And I've used the example of the book of Ruth. They had to fall back, and Little House on the Prairie, where they had to fall back. The circumstances were such that the storm came in and completely crushed everything, all the farm. Okay, all of the grain, all of the fruits, everything that they'd worked for that entire season, flattened to the ground, ruined. And people gave up hope. In fact, the men did. And it was the women that had this idea to say, look, the Bible talks about a threshing floor. We can salvage this. Not all of it. We can't use the modern mechanisms, the modern tech to do this. But what if we go back? This tech, the old tech still works. And in some cases, maybe that's good. In our case, maybe it would revive a mind that is more typographical. Not constantly just image oriented. Some people say, we'll be searching for the Pact on CB radio. Better believe it. We're looking for you out there, Bethany. But that's what we're dealing with now. That's what we're dealing with now. And it's bad. I'll save this one for later because we're coming down to the wire. On a positive sign. I'll take a break for a second, and I'll go ahead and woo, that is very big. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Now we can see it. Yeah, it's still doing it. Okay, we'll see how it works. I'm going to go ahead real quick, and we are going to play this video. I'll step out here for a second, give my voice a break, and then we're gonna close up. And again, I don't want to go too long today, but I wanted to be able to talk to you guys about this because it's actually a serious deal. So here we go. I want to show you something a little bit more uplifting, though. If you remember, there was that little guy that went to the mall or something, and he was asking for a Nerf gun, and the SJW PC Santa Claus, the very fake one, right? And we know the truth. Right? We know the truth about this. You know, St. Nicholas is the one anyway. And so the real St. Nicholas. We celebrated St. Nicholas Day recently. I'll show a video about that tomorrow. But you know, this PC SJW Santa Claus raging Dem taking a knee for Biden Dem, right? Said, no guns, absolutely no guns. Doesn't matter if it's Nerf or not. I don't believe in weapons. Propaganda bullcrap. Apparently, this little boy had another visitor. This time at the home. We're gonna see it right now. I hope you enjoy it.
So there was a mistake made yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're so sorry about that, okay? Can Santa come in?
This is big.
Yes.
But I heard you were coming to check on me from Alma's house.
Yeah, well, I heard about this up at the North Pole,
Yeah, me.
and I rushed down to help.
But this is crazy. Then listen for this. What? Wait.
It's just a Nerf gun.
This is crazy, this thing.
You say?
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Michael, what do you say to Santa?
I said thanks.
Oh,
He did.
all right, Michael. Santa's probably really busy. He's got to get back to the North Pole. Should we let him go?
Just one second, I'll find this other thing. Hey, Michael, you like Nerf, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a little trick to show you. May I?
Yeah.
See these two balls here?
Yeah.
They're made out of Nerf. Okay?
Yeah.
Can you hold out your hand? Okay, I need you to take and hold that ball. Hold your hand tight. Real tight. Okay? Now, I'm going to make this ball disappear. Blow on it. Now, open your hand.
Wow!
This is the real Santa.
Can you believe it?
All right. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know, the real one. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I hope that actually made your day a little bit brighter. I'm serious about that. I'm serious about that. You know, that you know, this little kid had a PC Santa shoot him down. SJW Santa, Biden Santa, right? He was not a very good Santa. He was a terrible Santa. And apparently, homeboy got fired. Homeboy got fired. They're like, look, you need to keep your PC crap at your house. Because we know that Santa is not in SJW. We just know that. I mean, it's a fact, right, guys? So, okay, yeah, David Gordon says, we celebrate Christmas, not a holiday. And again, I want to just encourage people with this because it's encouraging. Here we go.
In this room have encouraged Americans not to travel this holiday season, not to go to large gatherings. Across the street, you've been holding holiday parties with hundreds of people, many not wearing masks. Why are you modeling a different behavior to the American people than what your scientists tell them?
Well, they're Christmas parties, and frankly, we've reduced the number very substantially, as you know. And I see a lot of people at the parties wearing masks. I mean, I would say that I look out at the audience at those parties, and we have a lot of people wearing masks.
Yeah. But the idea, look, you got the idea of, this holiday party crap. It's holiday party crap. To be brutally honest, what they are talking about when they do say that are Christmas parties. They're not talking about Kwanzaa parties. Not the mainstream media. They're not talking about Kwanzaa parties. They're not talking about Hanukkah. They're not talking about any of that. They're talking about Christmas parties. I'm grateful for the president. By the way, David Robert Gordon, if you haven't followed him, make sure to follow him. He's a really cool dude, Tim Gordon's brother. Rules for Retrogrades, a Christmas gift for the man in your life. For the man's man. Okay, I don't know about that, dude. A little bit. I don't know about that one, man. Come on, the man's man. Okay. But you know what he means. And so, Rules for Retrogrades, right? 40 Tactics to Defeat the Radical Left by Timothy J. Gordon and David R. Gordon. Forward by Michael Knowles. And actually, I need my staff right now. I want my staff to go on to the internet, and I want them to pick up not only this book, but also Catholic Republic. And I'm serious about it. Put it down, because I've been saying I want to do both of those. I want to read both of them. I'd like to do a review, even have the guys on the show. And so I want to make sure that I can read that book ahead of time, and both books. And so make sure, again, Rules for Retrogrades and Catholic Republic. All right. Let's see. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel said her adopted son was devastated after hearing Merry Christmas. Oh, he was abused. Somebody said Merry Christmas, and he's like, oh, no. I can't believe I heard that. What's wrong with this lady? And look, you got to feel bad for the son. It's amazing. You gotta feel bad. Nessel made it clear that President Trump's support for Christmas has triggered her greatly, as this empowered LGBT leader is apparently so weak-minded that she is agitated by the smallest of microaggressions. I remember the first time I was at a store with my son, and an employee said, "Merry Christmas" to us. My son looked devastated, and he asked, "Are we the only people who don't celebrate Christmas?" I answered no. And look, the answer is no. We have people who tune into the show who don't celebrate Christmas. There are people who celebrate, even Christian people, right? Different denominations of people that say that they don't celebrate certain holidays, certain feast days. Okay? So no, there are all sorts of people. No, we're just as American as everyone else. I would look and say, yeah, we're just as American as everyone else. And then she said, glad Joe Biden knows that. Oh, okay, yeah, so Joe Biden knows that. You know, it's hilarious. It's hilarious because you can sit there and say, happy holidays. Don't you realize, are we the only Americans that don't celebrate the holidays? Think about that. I just got done saying this. There are people who tune into the show. I know them personally. Amazing people. Some of the most generous, kind, friendly, loving people, members of Team Tiny Dancer forever and ever and ever, who don't celebrate certain holidays. So when people say, Happy Halloween, are their kids going, are we the only kids? No, because they know why they believe what they believe, but they also know that the culture at large does. They use that as a moment to teach whatever. So to sit there and to pretend that if somebody says, well, look, happy holidays, if she wants to change it to happy holidays and say, well, that's what we're going to do from now on. Just happy holidays. That's it. If that's what they want to do, they're not understanding that they may say, that's what you should say to customers, but there are customers just as American as her who don't celebrate those holidays. It's absurd. It's stupid. It is. It's dumb. It's so petty. It's pathetic. Apparently, Christmas lights are also a sign of systemic biases. So are calendars, by the way. So is a nation's choice of language. So are customs and traditions. You don't go poop outside? You don't go poop outside? Well, boy, oh boy, oh boy, you're really rude. You don't eat dog? Boy, look at that systemic bias. These people are a joke. I have an entire video called, oh my gosh, what is it called? What is it called, man? It's Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth, when tolerance goes too far. And it may be when empathy, right? And it says, I got to tolerate what? And it's got me looking like, whatever. And it says in a little word bubble, I got to tolerate what? Kind of thing, or that? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And I go through to show just how ridiculous, if you start and you suppose this worldview here that they've got, and you suppose that, it breaks apart. It cannot function, which is why, historically speaking, you can find many groups that share similar beliefs and values, and they're typically really small, kind of weird, cultic collectives of people. And they don't last very long. They end up splintering into a bazillion groups. They can't function on a grand level, the kind of level necessary for, I don't know, a nation. And it falls apart. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna skip some of this. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna skip a bunch of it. I'm gonna skip a bunch of it. I said I would talk about this though. Hold on. I said I would talk about this. Let's see here. I gotta get this together here. Hold on. We'll go ahead and drop this up here and see if that will. There we go. Okay. Pope Francis partners with global CEOs to promote inclusive capitalism. Pope Francis has partnered with leaders in major corporations and organizations such as BP, Johnson & Johnson, DuPont, and Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, Visa, and Estee Lauder to form the Council for Inclusive Capitalism. By the way, this has to say something. This has to say something that you're like, okay, so with so many people who have views about critical of large corporations, right? And claiming that they support the poor, claiming that they support equality for workers and greater worker involvement and things like that. When you side with these people and these groups, Ford Foundation, are you out of your mind? Rockefeller Foundation, are you out of your mind? And I want to be fair in a way to say I don't want it to be that, well, because there's a tendency that says, if it's Catholic social teaching, it should only involve Catholic organizations. I don't believe that for a second. It's one of my criticisms of it was one of my criticisms. I'm not much involved in the community anymore of this, but distributism. I have a lot of views that are distributist. The views of Chesterton and Belloc and Penty. I have views like that, but so often it becomes a thing where, in order to talk about it and promote it, it only makes sense if it's to people who are robustly Catholic. And I don't believe that. I believe that it is something that can be understood, appreciated, and applied to great benefit of all people. Catholic social teaching. And we're going to talk this maybe tomorrow or Monday. We're going to talk about social theory and actually go through and say, what is social theory? What is that? Why should we have one? What happens when we don't? We're also going to talk next week. We're going to talk about what is news? What is that? Everybody thinks they've got an answer for it. I think it's going to surprise you. It's going to surprise you to go through and to begin asking the question on what it is and what it is not. You may even find many of your core beliefs challenged about what qualifies as news. What is it? Who says it? How does news work? Why are stories selected? Why are other stories left to hit the ground? Why are some of the same stories reported on in dramatically different ways? But it's something we have to be able to say this in a way that is ecumenical, in a way that is even interfaith for the best use of the term, to say the principles that apply here, are most fully encapsulated within CST, with all of the things that connect to it. It's most fully fleshed out. It's most consistent in this way. But the principles apply. They're universal principles. Universal not only in time, but in space. In justice. And so when you're looking at stuff like this and you say, well, wow, look at all the scumbags that they're now partnering with. Look at the scumbags. The Council for Inclusive Capitalism. The Vatican is a global nonprofit organization established under the auspices of the Vatican with the moral guidance of Pope Francis. Is it really? Is it really? And what does that say, actually? Our mission is to harness the potential of the private sector and create a more inclusive, sustainable, and trusted form of capitalism. Now, in a way, that makes perfect sense. I believe in that. By more inclusive, I mean more Johnny Q's and Sally Sue's, more mom and pop shops, less regulation. I'm down with sustainability too. The idea that you can create market conditions in such a way, or to not create them, but to harness them, to put policies in place that ensure sustainability. I'm not entirely opposed to this. I know some people who are. You know, even my boy Tim Gordon, he probably crapping his pants. You know, but I look at that and I say, I believe that we can do certain things that promote inclusivity when it comes to a more inclusive political economy. That we're not just simply wage slaves. That we can promote ownership, and not just ownership in capital, but also land, and a more trusted form of capitalism. These guys, by the way, BP, Johnson & Johnson, DuPont, Rockefeller, Ford, Visa, Estee Lauder, these people are going to have to do a lot of mea culpas, by the way. Publicly. These are puppet masters, masters of the universe. Wicked for a very, very, very long time. At the forefront, spearheading a lot of the social deconstruction that we see all around us. Despite his frequent denunciations of capitalism, the Pope has reportedly endorsed the group, comprising businesses, investors, and other groups that represent $2.1 trillion in market cap and 200 million employees. Now, fair, and look, an economic system that is fair, trustworthy, and capable of addressing the most profound challenges facing us and our planet is urgently needed. Now, fairness, that's one of those words you got to unpack. Inequality is fair. That's why basketball players sit there and say, well, look, I don't think that we should do any kind of affirmative action with basketball. If you're the best player, the best player. That's why that question to Jake Paul, should you have punched and knocked out that black guy you were boxing with? That's totally fair, man. It's totally fair. Inequality of outcome. We see that. That'd be like saying, well, God, you're not playing fair because you gave me gifts and talents and opportunities that are different from other people. That's part of the design, in fact. And the moment you start trying to tinker with that, and you start thinking about equity over equality in concepts of fairness, that's when you start playing God, and it's going to end up very badly for you. And with those people at the helm, are you serious? It's the same thing with the Great Reset, man. You look and you say, look at the people with the Great Reset. When they're talking, you're not going to own stuff. You won't need any of this money. And all the while, it's like, oh, they're going to leave their mega mansions? They're not going to fly on their mega planes anymore? Of course not. That's not, they'd laugh, oh, no, we don't mean that. We're talking about you. Don't believe these people. The cry of the earth and the cry for the poor. I'm down with both of those, by the way. I'm down with both of those things. I'm kind of a crunchy con. And I'm also someone who really cares about the poor. It's one of the reasons why I believe in American economics. It's why I believe that we need to raise all boats. It's why I believe in charity, why I believe in institutions, not the government, institutions, taking care and feeling that pressure of responsibility to work out that salvation with fear and trembling, and to do the right thing by feeding and clothing the poor. The commitments made by members of the companies include increasing representation of females and persons of color in upper management. Now, look, hey, if they're recognizing that they have been really racist and wicked dudes for a long time, and that females are people of color who are more qualified than some of the white people and, Jewish people at the top of that, and some of their Freemason buddies at the top of that, or Bilderberg pals at the top of that, and they've said, well, we're not going to give these people the job because of the color of their skin or because they are a woman. If that's the case, I'm glad they've learned that. I'm glad they're changing. If, however, this is a social engineering program, and by the way, it is, if that is the case, again, go back and listen. Go back to my YouTube channel. Listen to Scorched Earth. I rip it apart, destroyed it, left it in ashes on the ground. Promotion of gender equality. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff is just PC bullcrap. It's PC bullcrap. And it's some of the stuff's eco bullcrap. Environmentalist bullcrap. But see, here's why this is important. Here's why this is important. Because we need to, you can't beat something with nothing. You cannot beat something with nothing. You need to be able to present a theory. You need to be able to present a social theory. You need to have a cultural theory. You need to have some kind of system in place that says this is better. An art theory, a music theory. You need to study. You need to learn. And you don't need to be a genius. You need to have a functional knowledge of this. You ought to. Because in the end, if they're the only ones pushing this out, and we don't have a rival system, not only that we have in theory, but we have in praxis, that we say this is how it fleshes itself out in space and time, because I'm putting it into practice every single day with my thoughts, my words, and my actions. If you don't have that, then you lose. There's not even a fighting chance. It's like my dad told me. Maybe we'll still lose. These are big players. These are big ballers, man. Lots of money, lots of power. We're just everyday folks. What can we do? We can do way more. We can do way more than we ever imagined. And it's like my dad said. My dad used to tell me when I was golfing, he was my golf coach. And I would putt, and let's say when I'm putting on the putting green and that ball is like, left 3 inches short. My dad would always tell me, what's the problem with that? I'd say, well, I missed it. And he'd say, yes, but the problem was that you missed it short. It's better to be 3 inches past because at least then you had a chance. It's true. And it's not just true of golf. It's true of us. If we sit there and we come up short, we don't even put our hand to the grind, right? We don't do it at all. We don't get any of that elbow grease. We don't put on the thinking cap and go poo, think, Pooh Bear, think. If we don't do that, and all we do is sit there and complain, ow, why are the masters of the universe doing this? Why is the Great Reset doing this? I say, what are you hoping to beat it with? What is it? What are you actually hoping? Or are we just simply complaining? Because I feel like sometimes that's what we do. I feel like that's what we do. I feel like we're pessimillennialists. We have this idea of the future that's just purely pessimistic, drawn into this apocalyptic LARPing mechanism, this stage, the pageantry, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's all going down. We're just waiting for Jesus to come and snatch us up out of this. And Jesus is telling you, get to work. Why do you think the Great Commission doesn't apply to you? Why do you think subjecting all things unto him doesn't apply to you? Where do you get that from? Get that from some 1830s dispensational garbage? Where do you get this from? His is a kingdom that doesn't end. Why are you sitting there thinking you're on the Titanic? All power and all authority. Why are you treating him like he's a chump? Why are you accepting the idea that you are? You were made for big things. I was made for big things. You were made for big things. It's all a matter of size and scale, but sit there and say, big things in the life of your family. You don't even know. You may never fully grasp or understand. None of us will. The impact that those small things in our life, the way that it impacts those around us, and the way that that will impact the future. You may never know. You may die before you even realize it. Potential. Things that come into being. Things that begin to fit into place. Influence here, influence there. Examples and models everywhere. And a world that's caving and falling apart in different places, looking to us. Looking to us like the nations surrounding Israel in the Old Testament and saying the nations surrounding will look and say, what nation is like this? What nation has such great laws? What nation is so righteous and so near to their God? What nation is covenantally connected in this way that has a culture of life that flourishes spiritually, economically, with the family, with art, with music, beauty, philosophy, science, these things? We play a role. And we got to stop just complaining all the time. And so that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm actually I think it's a blessing in disguise that I'm being told by the masters of the internet universe, right? I'm kind of grateful in a way. It's a blessing in disguise that I'm being told, if you talk about these things, we're going to pull your videos. Or you talk about these things, we're going to drop your channel. Because I'm sitting there and saying, you know what? I'm glad to bring attention to something, but I can't allow those things to consume me. They will not define my day. I want to walk away, not just from life making it better than I found it, but walk away from the show at the end of the day when I stop it. When I stop the stream, that I can say, I've left it better, and that I'm entering into a place where I can leave a lot of things better than I found it. The kids can come on down now. The kids can come on down now. Because we're ending the show. And I hope you guys are okay with this. Oh, by the way, I'll go ahead and read through some of the comments. I gotta apologize for that. Yeah, because I went through a whole bunch of stuff, man. We didn't even talk. Stephen DeBoer said, Jeremiah is hilarious. Keep on keeping on, brother. I appreciate it, Stephen. I appreciate it big time, and I'm sorry I'm not showing the comments. I'll just go through them right now. Let's see here. So we should be offended by the Happy Hanukkah merchandise in Target. That's a good point. Like, you're talking about Merry Christmas offending people. And say, yes, actually, like, if somebody, don't they realize we don't celebrate Hanukkah? Rachel says, sounds libertarian. No. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a libertarian. I'm an America First guy. And there are legitimate differences. A lot of libertarians don't like the idea of tariffs, for example. They don't like the idea of any government involvement whatsoever in an economy. And that's, I am more like, for popular reference, like Pat Buchanan or Tucker Carlson on that. Or, the Founding Fathers. See, Zach says, it's an inclusive code for including Pachamama and other non-Catholic practices. It's a question. Dude, in all likelihood, to be honest, probably. Paula said, needed my shot of whiskey this morning. Are you the one that said that my voice is like a shot of whiskey? Is that you? I have a feeling it is. And if so, I am very, very grateful that you tuned in. I am super, super grateful that you are tuned in. Let's see here. Somebody said Three Stooges. That's not boomer. Most of their stuff came out during the Depression. That's true. Hey, good point. Yeah, vaudeville. You're right. Scott Webb, dude, good to see you. I'm eating a PB&J and chili cheese Fritos right now. Finally, I agree with you. Dude, that's good, man. You should agree with me more than that, though. You should agree with me more. But you're on to a good start, dude. You're on to a good start. I would definitely be eating chili cheese Frito with peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Somebody asked telepathic radio. Rachel asked telepathic radio by osmosis. Yeah, we're gonna do that, guys. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure out, you know, if they come against us and they end up taking the channel down, we're gonna do this thing. Wow. I'm gonna reach out to you guys. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna do smoke signals. So, you know, you got to realize, though, I know how to do smoke signals in cursive. So it can be a little bit difficult for the novice, but if you study long enough, you will eventually have the skills of a master smoke signaler like me. That's the way it goes. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody making fun of the joke. The answer to the joke. By the way, who was it that said the answer?
This guy, Athens.
Athens said it.
Yeah, no, it was Athens. It was Athens.
I was not even on. I was upstairs.
Oh, okay. So earlier we had the joke, and we'll just say it one more time. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? And guys, give the answer. What is it?
I don't know. Count Mousula.
Count Mousula.
Yep.
Yeah. So Count Mousula. That is the answer to that joke. And so we're gonna have to go online. We're gonna see the best one, and we'll announce the winner if there are any. And I hope you guys didn't let me down, man. I'd be really, really bummed out about that. Oh yeah. And the last one we'll talk about. Let's see here. Oh, well, one. Let's see here. Karen G, there are zillions of diamonds, actually. They withhold them on purpose to make them appear scarce. Hey, that's a good point. Talking about the money. Maybe that was a bad example about that. Holy Faith Media. Well, Tom, speaking of Motor Mouse, are you trying to compete? That's the guy who is, how did I get here? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I think he competed. He wins. He gets the blue ribbon for the day. Holy Faith Media, we should bake him some cookies and send him there and say, dude, you did a really good job of becoming the loudmouth of the day on the show. So let's see here. Last one, reply to Bethany. Let's see here. Oh, she's replying to Rachel. I'm not a processed food fan, but these are seriously special. What are they? What are these? What are these things? What are those? I got to go up and see what this is, man. I don't even know. I can't even see it. You know, so okay. You know, the thing is, she's not a fan of processed food, but she's going overboard by thinking that canned jellified cranberry sauce that everybody loves and that Gordon Ramsay says is the most authentic cranberry sauce in the world, that somehow that's processed just because it's jellified in a can and comes out looking like a blob. Give me a break. There's processing in making any kind of cranberry sauce. You ain't going to get away with that. You ain't going to get away. I appreciate all of you, by the way. I'm grateful. And so we're going to go ahead. Got my family here. By the way, let me just introduce him real quick. So I got little Wolfgang. So when I say get Wolfgang on it and get little Louie on it, these are the ones I'm talking about. Let me get Louie up here a little bit more so you can see his face. Let me see. There he is. You got look at that. Look at that, buddy. It's okay. Hold on. I'll put it on so you can see. Yep, over there. See it? Oh yeah. So this is my little Louie, little Lucian. Okay, we love this big guy. He's our buddy. And then we've got Wolfgang back here. Ailey's holding him. That's my mega hot half Korean wife holding little Wolfie. And then we've got Teresa. She's over here. We got Athanasius. Where is Athen? Yeah, other side, man. I'm looking. There's Athanasius. Where's Ambrose? And that's Ambrose right there. So, you know, we really appreciate all of you guys. We appreciate you. We're glad that you tune in. We're glad that you subscribe and that you support what we're doing. And to know that what we're doing here is a family thing, and that what drives us and motivates us here is our family, because we're Team Tiny Dancer forever. And if you'd like to know more about that story, you can go to the YouTube channel. We got a playlist that talks about it, and it talks about our family story. And so when I get on here, I'm not just acting crazy and having fun. I am doing that, but we're doing it because we want to invest in our children, and we do that by sending them to Sacred Heart Academy. It's an amazing school, making future leaders, and more importantly, future saints. And so we're really, really grateful for all of that. All right. We're down to the last minute. Again, we love all of you. We are grateful for each and every one of you. We ask that you simply go and subscribe. It's entirely free. You can do that at paleocratdiaries.com. And if you'd like to become a member, it's only $5 a month to be part of the Paleo Naughty. It's amazing. All your wildest dreams will come true. If you'd like to set up an interview with me or be interviewed on this show, or if you'd like me to come and do a speech at your church, school, homeschool network, wherever, doesn't matter, organization, club, doesn't matter, reach out to us at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Of course, we're on every single Monday through Friday, 10-ish to 12-ish, or like today, 1. You know, we had to talk, though. We had to do it. So I'm really grateful. And make sure, share. It's the best way. It's the best way to get the word out, and we're grateful for each and every little bit of it. So until next time, remember, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.